Huh. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. That's never done that. So
no, I know.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll get into a lot of football today. There's a lot of other stuff going on, though. We will get into that as well. If you don't include Maction, football weekend got underway yesterday. Whew, what a barn burner it was. Oof. And I love me some defensive football, but at times that was a tough watch.
Yeah. There's defensive football, and then there's that.
And there's just bad offense also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's run it into the back of the line again.
But the team that was supposed to win won. That's all that counts in the NFL. Just keep putting those numbers up in the left-hand column. Try to put as few numbers up in the right-hand column and see where you are. At
No
the
doubt.
end of the day.
You know, I will say this. We did not knock Kansas City all last year for doing this same thing. We credited them for winning close games. Hey, they're resilient. They know how to win the close one. Let's put another cliche in about the Kansas City Chiefs. So, is Denver a really good team? Are they a good team with a great defense? We'll find out. Their schedule will get tougher here sooner than later.
Yeah, this pretty much ends the soft part of the schedule, but they took advantage of it. I mean, they started this 7-game winning streak off with a surprise win in Philadelphia. And then we said, they got a lot of potential wins lined up here. Look at who they're playing. They have not looked good in doing it. I mean, they've beaten the juggernaut Jets by 2 points, the juggernaut Giants by a point, the juggernaut Raiders by 3. But, hey, 8-2 in the NFL is what, Mark?
It's 8-2.
There you go.
It's 8-2. That's
Yep.
all there is to it.
I mean, Sean Payton said after the game, there's no team in the league with more wins than 8, right? No? Well, technically, no, because, well, everybody with 7 still has to play. But, yeah, you're right, Coach. One would think they're going to have to get better, and soon, because I believe their next game is against the Chiefs, but, you know, we'll see.
All right, can I just say something here? And you and I have both been in this position. But I was trying to climb back in with my picks, and I had a bad week. So I am now 21-29.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, when finishing the show, I said reluctantly I would take the Raiders and the points.
Correct.
But I said I feel really good about South Florida. And I said if you want one more, take the Penguins tonight because they're at home against Washington, and Washington's playing back-to-back. Who covered? The Raiders or the Broncos?
That'd be the Raiders.
How about South Florida? Did they cover?
Oh, did they cover? Damn, what was it? 42-10 at the half?
Right. And the Penguins, winners at home against the Caps.
And scored 2 in the third to break away a 3-all tie because they were the fresher of the two teams, maybe.
That's 3-0.
Yeah.
None of them count. Not a
Nope.
damn one counts.
You get no credit for that at all.
Nothing.
None. Zip, zilch, nada. Nope. That's how it works. Yep. All the stuff I've gotten right, no evidence of it whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
Nope.
None whatsoever.
I'm 137 games below 500 because those are the official picks. Mark, it's kind of like having the winning lottery numbers, but you didn't play the lottery. But then
$5 a ticket. I don't know how you can afford it anymore.
And then when you go to play the lottery and you play those same numbers, guess what? They don't come in. So there you have it.
That was frustrating to me. Watching it all unfold in front of my eyes, going, really? And I wasn't smart enough to have a 3-team parlay either.
Hey, take the 3-0 though.
Yeah, I got you. But a solid Saturday coming. I believe a critical Sunday for many teams in the National Football League. And every Saturday is important. There are teams that can't stub their toe anymore. And there are some sneaky games. You know, to me, Georgia at Mississippi State. Mississippi State at home's played everybody tough. Georgia, go take care of business.
You know what's funny is there are a lot of people in our shoes that keep bringing up, is Georgia walking into a potential letdown situation? Don't the Dogs then follow up Mississippi State shortly thereafter with Texas and Georgia Tech?
Texas, Cupcake, Tech.
Right.
And they just played Florida, which
Right.
is the biggest game on their schedule every year. So cocktail party, Mississippi State, Texas, I think it's Charlotte, and then Georgia Tech.
And yet the people like us are like, Georgia might be in a trap situation. And as you pointed out, Mississippi State at home lost in overtime to Tennessee, lost in the final minute to Texas. And yet, Mark, the money has come in on the Dogs. The money has come in on Georgia. I mean, it's up to 9.5. I believe it opened at 7.5 and quickly went up to 8.5 and has done nothing but crawl its way up to 9.5.
Now, I know Missouri's playing with a backup quarterback, but A&M, make sure you don't stub your toe. I mean, it's kind of that weekend. Because I don't think there's a lot of great on the college football schedule. But there are teams that can't screw up. Your game, however, that's the juicy one.
And it's supposed to be a mess. It's supposed to be rain, and I mean rain, and like 43.
Iowa and Oregon at Kinnick. Game's built for the Hawkeyes if it's that kind of weather.
I agree. Also, will that kind of weather help? Because even though this Iowa team is better than most think, more athletic than most think, has a quarterback with a pulse, which hasn't happened in a while, Oregon's got better overall team speed. So will the conditions also help negate that advantage for the Ducks? Listen, I'll say it again. Oregon's at Iowa. It's a legit ranked team. They host USC, a legit ranked team. And then they're at Washington, a legit ranked team. 2 of the 3 on the road. This may not be as daunting as, the Alabama stretch in which they had 5 such games in a row. But at the end of a season? Listen, let me tell you something. You know, Oregon runs the table. That'd be a hell of an 11-1.
Sure would. Sure would. You know, the only other thing that I think of for this game, and I think it may give Oregon a slight advantage, is it going to be so nasty? Be careful what you say there, Mark. Is it going to be so nasty that it keeps people away? Will the crowd be the same factor if it wasn't raining and lousy? You know, I mean, that's a very tough place to play. The crowd, the stands go right to the field level. I mean, you are right on top of the field. You've been there now a few times. Are there many stadiums that you've been to where the stands come that close to the field?
No. Now, I will say, it's not an SEC cathedral stadium. You know, yes, the fans are on top of you. Ironically, it's a lot like Oregon. But it also seats like 60,000. But it makes more than enough noise. It does. I got to get PJ Fleck in Minnesota, by the way. Quick sidebar. The last time I was there was 2 weeks ago, Minnesota at Iowa. So Iowa was kicking the tar out of Minnesota after the first quarter. I don't know, 17-0, 21-0, something like that. PJ Fleck had instructed his team because at the end of the first quarter, they got the tradition. The Iowa team walks out to the numbers and waves to the kids in the children's hospital. And the children's hospital, by the way, the kids have signs that they put up against the windows, which you can clearly read. And it's a real thing. Minnesota's getting their butt kicked, and PJ Fleck orders his team to walk out to the numbers, turn around, and wave to the kids. Just thought that was a classy thing to do. Just like BYU. You know what, Mark? How do you not root for BYU against Texas Tech? Apparently, the barber for Texas Tech's wife was hit by a drunk driver and is in critical condition, fighting for her life. And the medical bills are adding up and what have you. BYU now for 2 weeks has had a GoFundMe fund and is raising tens of thousands of dollars for the barber for the Texas Tech football team.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. I thought you were going to tell me at the start of it that BYU threw tortillas.
So, and you know what? And I'll bet you Texas Tech would love it if they did.
They would.
But anyway,
they would.
Just some
that's
good
Saturday.
News. Happy stories.
You're right. That's Saturday. You know, another one, Auburn, with now that Freeze is gone, Auburn's played so many teams so close. Vandy, there's still a lot in front of you. Don't screw this up.
I just scored 3 points at home against Kentucky, though. Do we really think Auburn?
Yeah, I do think. I think with Freeze gone, they're going to be better. I do.
Oh, okay. All right.
And defensively, we know they're good.
Oh, very good. No. Very good. Championship level defense.
So I just think this is a don't screw it up weekend. And then we get Texas Tech and BYU, really the featured game. And that one, the score will indicate to me whether or not the Big 12 is a two-bid league. We'll talk about a great Sunday next, Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
This is Miller and Moulton.
At least, oh, you're eating. I can't. Yeah, this is just eat in front of me and don't put your headsets on, you son of a. I had to read that twice, Aurora, because I thought it said "Good morning, youngins" and Mark, as opposed to "Good morning, youngins" and Mark. Happy Football Friday. I'm like, wow. I know I'm old, but that's a shot. That is funny. Happy that college basketball started, so I don't get the same bland text from John Rothstein every morning that he's got set up to repeat. But he is digging deep. Sleeper game of the night is in Frisco, Texas, as VCU takes on Utah State. Both teams expected to be near the top of their respective conferences. Both teams are searching for a potential quad one win. Right. Well, he's got Nuggets this morning. Georgetown plays Maryland tonight. 4th meeting between the programs since 2000. There's something wrong there.
Yeah, you think? Michael, they may not be the best defense in the league. The Rams, Houston. Seriously, you gotta get some perspective. And I'd wait another 4 to 6 weeks before bringing up Super Bowl.
Yeah. You got someone who refers to his team as "we" 6 times in the same paragraph is going to always lack a little perspective.
That's a good point. Michael, I thought the first comment you were going to make today and the only one was going to be, whew, and just leave it at that.
No, it's we did this and we did that and we. Makes me want to go wee.
Boom, boom.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on a Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Talked a little college football last segment. The starting five is coming up. We'll talk everything then. But you're right. This looks like it should be a very competitive Sunday. Like,
Well,
for those of you that watch Red Zone, the final 30 minutes of Red Zone should be one game on top of another. Look at the point spreads this week, Mark.
No, I know. And not just that it should be competitive. It's that this is a week that, to me, there's a lot on the line. You know, Baltimore and Minnesota. Baltimore cannot afford very many losses the rest of the way, or they're done. They're on the road in Minnesota. Minnesota's coming off their best win of the year. They looked really good last week. J.J. McCarthy's back. He played well. This game fascinates me. We all know Lamar against NFC teams. So how does this game go? You know, Baltimore's a 4.5-point favorite. That's a lot of points in Minnesota to me. You can tell the folks that make the lines are all in on the Ravens. All in. I mean, they are the favorite to win their division. And they were last week.
Remember, Ravens with 3 extra days of rest also factored in because the Ravens played 2 Thursdays ago.
Patriots and Bucks. Now, I don't know if the Patriots are going to win the division. I don't think that they are, but they might. And if they do, that means they're in the running for what? The 1 seed. Well, so are the Bucks, and they're banged up, and everybody's talking about Philadelphia and Green Bay and the Rams and the Seahawks, and the Bucks are just standing here going, really? You seen our team? Jags and Texans. If the Jags are going to be a playoff contender, they need to win on the road in Houston. They do. This is a game they've got to get. And a sweep inside the division is not easy. Bears, don't screw it up. And the Giants have played a lot of teams tough, David. You watch them. You pay attention. They're your team. The Giants they had Denver on the ropes. They've beaten Philadelphia. They're a sneaky, decent football team. So Arizona and Seattle. Arizona's coming off of a really nice win. Divisional game. Rams and Niners. Divisional game. Lions on the road. They're a big favorite at Washington, but everybody can score on Detroit. Steelers and Chargers. The Steelers trying to keep their separation from Baltimore. Chargers banged up. Can they win at home where it'll be a 50-50 crowd at best? And then you go from the best college game of the week to maybe the best, not maybe. You go from the best college game of the week to the best pro game of the week. You must feel like you're doing SEC football again.
Well played. Well played. There are 8 NFL games in which the point spread is 4.5 or less. There are 5 NFL games where the point spread is under a field goal. This should be a tremendous Sunday. And then, yes, you mentioned Eagles at Packers. 2 first-place teams, so they're fighting it out for the 1 seed also. And then you have the whole underlying factor of it was the Packers who officially submitted the request to eliminate the tush push. And believe me, it's a BFD in Philadelphia. So yes, Mark, this should be a great Sunday, A, and B, there's a lot of implications, and you're right. And we're one of, I mean, there are a few things that we're good at. We are, I think, good about pointing out, hey, this is a must win. You can't lose this game if you're going to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. Like the Lions can't lose to Washington.
Right. The Bears can't lose to the Giants.
Correct. Now, I wouldn't put the Jags in that situation. It's a toss-up game, okay, a division game on the road. But then again, you get a backup quarterback, and he is a backup quarterback. There's nobody thinking that Davis Mills is a starting quarterback in the league. You really should be able to go there. It won't be easy.
But to me, if you're going to make the playoffs, this is a game you need to get.
Right.
Can you get to the playoffs losing? Yeah, you can. But it means you're going to have to do something that's not expected of you. You're going to have to beat someone that you're probably not favored to beat. You may have to get Indy once, Jacksonville. You get 2 more games with Indianapolis. Right now, I look at those as 2 L's. And I know it's in the division, and I know there are a lot of splits. But get the Texans this weekend. Your road to the postseason becomes a hell of a lot more doable if you can win on Sunday at Houston.
Carolina at home for the Saints. Don't screw it up.
Just don't screw it up.
Won't screw it up. Yeah,
and then of course we have and then of course we have the Browns and the Jets.
Right. In which both fan bases go, don't win and screw it up. Okay.
Right.
Don't win and screw it up. We're playing for draft position at this point in time. Don't screw it up, please.
So a lot to be, I think will we have a clear picture after Sunday and Monday? No, but it has the potential to become much more clear depending on the outcomes this weekend. Because right now, like to me, the NFC and really to Vegas, the NFC is still a toss-up. The Eagles are the favorite, but not by much. The Eagles are plus 375. The Rams are plus 425. The Lions 450. The Packers 500. And the Seahawks plus 575. It's not until the Bucs, who are 10-1, do you get real division of what Vegas thinks is going on in the NFC.
Meanwhile, think of the opportunity you have if you're the Bucs. I mean, a win, obviously, between Green Bay and Philly, somebody's going to lose. So you have a chance to just move on up the NFC ledger anyway. But, Mark, look at that game the other way. If the Patriots go into Tampa and beat the Bucs, yeah, okay, the Bucs have injuries. It's the NFL. But the Bucs are coming off a bye, too. If the Patriots go into Tampa and win, the Patriots will be 8-2, having gone to Buffalo and Tampa and won. I mean, at what point do you have to go, got to give them their props. Got to give them their props.
By the way, if the Patriots get that game, after that game, they host the Jets, go to Cincinnati, and host the Giants.
Could be a 10-game winning streak.
Right. They could be sitting there at 11-2 going, you sure we're not the 1 seed? And yes, they play the Bills again. And I think they have the Ravens, but they also have the Jets and the Dolphins one more time to finish the season. We were talking about the Colts getting that one. I still think that they're going to. But if the Patriots win on Sunday, they can raise their hand and say, are you sure? Are you sure that the Colts are getting the one?
Well, yeah, if the Patriots win on Sunday, if they just win the games they're favored in the rest of the year, that's 13 wins.
Right. Heady stuff. I'm telling you, it's a really good Sunday. It's a don't screw it up Saturday, but it's a really big Sunday. The starting five. That's next.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real. This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but two elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Did you hear about the Michigan politician? Lifelong dream to get into politics. So he runs for office. He's 69. And he wins on Tuesday. Only a few hours before the polls closed, he suffers a fatal heart attack.
Oh my goodness.
I know. City Council also, just, Auburn Hills.
Where the Pistons used to play.
Yep.
Where the Palace was.
6 people running for 4 spots. He had the 4th highest vote total.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes. Till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Have a lot to get to, so I don't want to waste any time. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
Mark. How many times have I told you the Starting Five is brought to you by Lee County, Florida? Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism. Okay.
During the actual Starting Five segment, how many times have you told me? Not enough.
Probably 3. NFL last night, Broncos somehow beat the Raiders 10-7, their 7th win in a row. Bo Nix was terrible, 150 yards, 2 interceptions. But Denver's defense was excellent, and their special teams, at times a problem, but they did block a punt, which led to the game-winning field goal. And it helped that Raiders kicker Daniel Carlson missed a 48-yard field goal to tie it with 4.5 minutes to go. Broncos 10-7. They're 8-2. The Raiders are 2-7. Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Nealand, who recovered a block punt for a touchdown Monday night, shot and killed himself early yesterday. He got into a traffic stop and chase with police and took his life. He was 24 years old. Former San Diego Charger linebacker Woodrow Lowe passed away yesterday. Lowe played 11 years with the Chargers. He's on their all-anniversary teams. Before that, he was a college football Hall of Famer as a linebacker at Alabama and was on the 73 national championship team. Woodrow Lowe, who had the John Riggins, helmet and mask there, face guard. He was 71. Eagles linebacker Jalen Phillips was asked yesterday about being traded from Miami to Philadelphia. Mark, did you see what he said? Jalen Phillips said, and I'm quoting, "Getting traded to the Eagles was literally the greatest thing that ever happened to me."
Wow.
He went literally the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Damn. College football last night. South Florida led UTSA 42-10 at the half. They only ran 50 plays and scored 55 points in winning 55-23. Georgia Southern went on the road, beat App State. App State's in danger of not going to a bowl, which would be the first time since they moved up to the FBS level. They dropped to 4-5 with the 25-23 loss to Georgia Southern. UCF in action tonight at home, 8 o'clock on FS1 against Houston. 9 o'clock on Big Fox, Northwestern USC, but 9 o'clock on ESPN, probably the biggest game of the night in the American, Tulane at Memphis. Wisconsin says Luke Fickell will be our coach next year. And Georgia Tech head coach Brent Key, when asked about all these openings, and he's been linked to a few, he said, and I quote, "Slice me open and see what colors I bleed." I had told you.
Damn.
I told you
Oh, I
a couple
know.
weeks ago. Okay, know a couple boosters at Georgia Tech, and they're like, yeah, he ain't going anywhere. This is the job he wanted. He thinks he can win big here. He's not going anywhere. He goes, now, if Alabama calls one day, that's a different story, he said, but he ain't going to Florida or Penn State or any of those places.
I will say, though, trusting boosters to where their coach may be is not always the best source because,
no, I know.
You know, the Florida boosters, and they may end up being right. They're all telling me Lane's coming. We'll see.
Baseball. Yes, baseball. Free agency is officially underway. Yesterday afternoon was the deadline for teams to make qualifying offers to certain free agents to be, in which they say, hey, if you want, you can skip free agency. Here's a 1-year, $22 million deal. Take it or leave it. They have less than 2 weeks to decide if they're going to take it or leave it. If they say no thanks and sign elsewhere, the team making the qualifying offer gets draft pick compensation, Mark. Of the 13 that were given qualifying offers, Kyle Tucker, Kyle Schwarber, Bo Bichette, Gleyber Torres, Trent Grisham, whole bunch of pitchers. Framber Valdez, Dylan Cease, Ranger Suarez, Edwin Diaz, Brandon Woodruff, Shota Imanaga, Zach Gallen, and Michael King. Usually, players turn down these qualifying offers. They're looking for multi-year deals, not a 1-year deal, even if that 1-year deal will pay more per year than what the multi-year deal will give them. 64-year-old Don Mattingly stepped away from the Blue Jays yesterday. He didn't say I'm retired, but he did say I'm really tired of the travel. So we'll see if Mattingly is ever a part of baseball again. The Rays declined their $11 million option on their closer, Pete Fairbanks. Why? Trade him. I mean, he's got value. Anyway, they did, however, pick up the options on Brandon Lau and Taylor Walls. Padres hire Craig Stammen to be their manager. He was a reliever 3 years ago. He was on the hiring committee to pick the next Padres manager and then decided midway through the process, hey, I want the gig. Dodgers pick up the $10 million option on Max Muncy. And Mark, you remember Paul DePodesta?
Yeah.
He was a baseball executive. He was Jonah Hill's character, Pete, in Moneyball. He was in baseball till 2016, left the Mets to join the Cleveland Browns as their chief operating officer. Now he's leaving the Browns to go back to baseball, and he will run the Colorado Rockies organization. Good luck.
Okay. I mean, if there's a franchise that needs a Moneyball type approach because they don't spend a lot and draw well, that's not a bad organization to pick.
How about this poll question? Bigger mess of an organization, Browns or Rockies? Hello. College hoops. I told you to take North Florida in the 43.5.
Yep. A lot of points. We said it.
Gators beat the Ospreys by 40, 104-64, while raising their national championship banner. Other ranked teams who won last night, Louisville, Iowa State, and Auburn. Miami and Jacksonville, men's basketball winners in Florida. On the women's side, Miami, Jacksonville, Florida, Florida State, Stetson winners. Alabama, a winner by 20 last night. NBA, just the one game. Phoenix at home beat the Clippers 115-102. Jalen Green, he was the big acquisition from Houston in the Kevin Durant deal. He made his son's debut last night. He scored 29 in the win. Big NBA night tonight. Amazon has the doubleheader. For those of you getting used to the new NBA TV package, Amazon, 7:30, 10 o'clock with the double dip. Houston, San Antonio early. Golden State, Denver late. No Steph for the Warriors. Magic in action tonight against the Celtics. Heat in action tonight against Charlotte. Eric Spoelstra, South Florida home, totally destroyed by fire early yesterday morning. Spo was still on the plane flying back from Denver. No one, fortunately, was in the house or injured. The house was purchased just 2 years ago, and Spo had completely redone the home. Damon Jones entered a not guilty plea in the NBA gambling case yesterday. And by the way, for the Heat tonight, no Bam Adebayo. He's out with a toe injury. 9 games in the NHL last night. Lightning, big win in Vegas, 6-3. Kucherov with 2 goals in the third. The Lightning with a 4-goal third in the 6-3 win.
And playing pretty damn well over the course. They started out slow, but they found their groove and have playing really good hockey lately.
Isn't that 6 of 7 for the
Yes.
Lightning? Panthers, by the way, how much is Brad Marchand carrying this team? He's 54 years old. 2 more goals. Reinhardt on his 30th birthday with the game winner in the third. Panthers pull away from the Kings 5-2.
By the way, just to back that up, Marchand in 13 games has 9 goals and 6 assists.
And what's he, 38? By the way,
Reinhardt's going for the Cy Young, as we like to say in hockey circles. Reinhardt has 7 goals on the year, 1 assist.
There we go. Sidney Crosby's 38, and he's leading the league in goals. He scored 2 more last night. He has 11 on the season, 636 for his career. Penguins with 2 in the third to beat Ovechkin and the Caps 5-3. Nashville, they got off to a promising start. Yeah, it is faded. Philly scored 2 in the second and an empty netter in the third to beat the Preds 3-1. Seth was there when the Devils tied it with 1:10 to go to force overtime, and that's where Jesper Bratt scored on a breakaway. New Jersey 4-3 over Montreal. Boston needed OT to beat Ottawa 3-2. Joel Hofer with 28 saves. St. Louis shuts out Buffalo 3-0. Carolina beat Minnesota 4-3. Mark, this was a strange game. All 7 goals were scored in the first 21 minutes of the game. The final 39 minutes, nothing. And Chris Kreider with 2 goals. He has 9 goals. I don't think the Rangers have scored 9 goals. And the former Ranger helps Anaheim, and they are off to a very good start, beat Dallas in Dallas 7-5. And finally, some golf news. There's only 3 events left, I believe, to keep your tour cards. One of them is in Mexico this weekend. It's the Worldwide Technology Championship in Cabo. Nick Dunlap and Sam Valimaki both shot 11 under 61s. Thank you very much. They're 3 clear of the field. Our FGCU buddy, Frankie Sappin, 1 under. That's tied for 74th. He probably needs a win in these last 3 events to keep his card, even though he's earned just under $1 million. And he's going to get demoted. And at 9 minutes before the hour mark, that was the starting 5. 5 big stories and a Valimaki here on Miller and Moulton.
A Valimaki.
Yeah,
Not nearly the same as a Vasilevsky.
No, it is not.
David, just to prove your point, your Rangers have scored 19 less goals than the division-leading Devils. They have 31 goals. Columbus, who is equally as bad as the Rangers, have scored 10 more goals than your beloved Blue Shirts.
Mark, they've been shut out at home in 4 games.
And the irony is they can't win at home, and the Knicks can't lose at home.
Right.
It's just weird.
It is. Well, one team is good and the other is not. I do think that needs to be taken into the equation.
I understand, but I didn't know they were this bad. Like, I knew they weren't good. You and I both said they were not a playoff team when the year started.
Right.
But I didn't see them in the running for a lottery pick for the kid from Penn State who's going to go first overall. Hey, college hockey fans, Penn State, Michigan State this weekend, 1 versus 3. The college hockey top 3 are Michigan, Michigan State, and Penn State.
There we go.
Yes, they're spending the money. That's how you get the team these days, David.
Yes, they are. Well, Michigan State has to be good at basketball and hockey and a few other things because, well, you know,
Oh, boy.
football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan Kelly, would you please come to East Lansing? We'd take you. Despite all your faults, we'd take you willingly.
Brian, yeah, I'm a jerk, but I can coach. Kelly, do you want
By the way,
me?
did you have the Antonio Brown getting
know,
arrested thing, or did you
no.
just decide to skip that?
I decided to skip it. I'm bored with AB. Okay, now he's running around the world with a shirt off. I mean, what he did something over in the Middle East, right?
Well, he didn't he do it at a fight? It was in Miami, and he was in Dubai, and U.S. Marshals arrested him in Dubai and are bringing him back to Miami because he took a gun and shot somebody at a boxing match. He's quite a guy.
Yeah,
He
real
was
charmer.
arrested on an attempted murder charge. Lee Sterling to make his picks. That's next on a Football Friday. Miller and Moulton. Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 13325.
It's the event everyone will be talking about when college basketball's biggest names take the court in Fort Myers. The Michigan State Spartans and the North Carolina Tar Heels headline the 2025 Skechers Fort Myers Tip-Off. Witness the excitement live and in person this Thanksgiving week at Suncoast Arena. The stage is set. Will you be there? Lock in your spot now at FortMyersTipoff.com/go. That's FortMyersTipoff.com/go. See you Thanksgiving week at Suncoast Arena.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This is Miller and Moulton.
Not at all, Adam. You just have to look at the chat room. They take care of that. They've won 8 games. They're going to win 11. Pretty much write it down. I don't see a way that Denver doesn't win at least 11. They've got 8 now. They're going to beat Washington. They're going to beat the Raiders at the Raiders. They will. And they're going to beat the Jags at home. That's 11 right there. Now I don't think they're going to lose both to the Chiefs. And I think they beat the Chargers the last game of the season if it means anything for them. Yeah, they are barely winning games, Empire, but you just got done saying in the chat room that the Eagles are far and away the best team in the NFC because they got Jalen Phillips. First off, your team lost to Denver, and secondly, you're not world beaters. Look at the odds of the Eagles to win the NFC, which you just got done saying is a foregone conclusion. They're far and away the best team. Yeah, they're barely winning them. They're winning them. This is the NFL. They're going to win 12 games. I'm telling you right now. They've got 11 for sure, and if the game against the Chargers matters, they're winning. Oh, I fell asleep, Michael. I've got to be honest with you. I crashed right out. It was unwatchable. I was on the couch and then finally woke up at midnight. Where's my Lee? There you are. Morning, Lee.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good. Went with some friends who were in from out of town. Had a tough couple of weeks, so I met them at Joe's with my wife and had a great time. Sure, you guys both been there, right?
I've never been to Joe's.
Oh,
Believe it or not, I've only been out in Miami like twice in my life.
wow.
Like, I've been to games in Miami, but I've never, I don't go 2 hours to go spend a weekend in Miami. It does nothing for me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like, it just,
Joe's is pretty good. What do you think, David?
Never been.
I mean,
God, you guys got to come in.
put it this way, for what they charge and what I can get from Big Jimmy, I've got a stone crab guy in Golden Gate that I go buy them from direct after they're cooked. I'm good with Big Jimmy for the price.
So what's interesting is I love stone crabs, but we go there more for the sides. My wife and I love their tomatoes with spinach and then 3 cheeses melted over the top. Insane. Their hash browns are
all right
die for. The crab cakes are insane, and then if you wash it down with some key lime pie. So
I do like me some key lime pie. My wife doesn't. It sucks.
Publix makes a great key lime pie.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
And it's time for Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, ParamountSports.com, 800-400-9741. Lee got his game of the week right last week, 1-2 on his big plays. Got an interesting couple games on the slate this week, Lee. How you doing?
I'm good. I learned something. I was just on about a half hour ago in Columbus, Ohio. They talk about people who are born on a certain birthday and pass away on a certain birthday. What year would you have thought that Steve McQueen passed away?
1980.
How did you know that?
Because we do a segment every day on this show called Today Was the Day When, and I do it every night
Oh,
while
I
I'm
didn't.
watching football, and that was one of the things
That's-
I had on there. So when
that's
you
the day I
gave me
don't listen.
when you gave me what's a layup for me and nobody else, I had to take it, Lee.
Okay. I would have said like, 90, late 90s, 2000, because I think of him, along with Gene Hackman. They kind of came in at the same time. And, or at least I remember some of the movies I always used to go to as a kid growing up in my teens, but didn't realize he died so young at 50.
Yes, very young. Yes, I agree. And yet was already a star with quite a resume.
Yeah.
At 50. But yes, I have a feeling you'll hear that a little bit later on in the show on Today Was the Day When. All right.
Yeah.
Are you going to lay the big number with the Canes? I mean, I can't believe you'd even bring the Canes up after what they've done here in the last 3 weeks. I mean, are you going to lay the 28.5 with the Canes?
And now Fletcher, running back, best running back, and Daniels, their number 2 receiver, not playing. Here's what's interesting. Did you watch tape at all of the Syracuse game against North Carolina last week?
No.
Okay, the quarterback that started that game, and it looks like might be starting again, lacrosse player, number 25 lacrosse player, and I think he was the number 4 defenseman coming out of high school for lacrosse. He has no business playing at all. They threw for 38 yards. I don't know what they're doing there. So playing musical quarterbacks, not a game I'm giving my clients, but I think Miami needs a feel-good game. I think they win this game here 45-7. I can't see Syracuse piling up more than 125 total yards. So Mario needs a big game, especially after him saying that they had SMU had equal talent that the Canes did.
The number's 28.5, by the
Yep.
way. And Lee is gonna lay
28.5.
Right.
Wow. All right. I remember when this game was a big deal. I didn't even realize they were playing this weekend till I started going through to make my bets. I went, I'll be damned. Clemson and Florida State play this weekend. And an absolutely meaningless ACC game. Now, losing coach gets fired? Hell, I don't know anymore. Dabo's trying to bait the media every week, or his AD, that he's going to get fired. I don't know if he's going to blow me out or not. Norvell on the hot seat as well. Clemson, a 1.5-point favorite over Florida State.
I think Dabo is going to work out a buyout with Clemson and move on. Does he go against his former school, Alabama, and maybe link on with Auburn? So remains to be seen. So I think he's looking for another challenge here. I think Florida State, when they're on a roll, they're pretty good. What's just shocking, Clemson might have 3 defensive linemen go in the top 2 rounds, and they can't stop anyone. So I think Florida State's running game here is the difference. I like Florida State 30-24.
Clemson hosting Florida State on the ACC network tomorrow night. Remarkable. Gators, chance for a letdown at Kentucky. They've got some injuries coming out of the Georgia game also. They're favored by 3.5.
So Kentucky might be looking for a coach if they lose this game and continue losing. They got a reprieve, Mark Stoops did last week, with a win against Auburn. But, Auburn, for some reason, decided to go with the transfer quarterback from Stanford, who Stanford told Ashton Daniels, bye-bye, see ya. Don't let the door hit you, and you know what. So I guess Auburn's trying to get a boost there, but didn't work against Kentucky, whose defense has been pretty good. Curious defensive ranking, ranked 94th in passing yards allowed, but have given up only 6 passing touchdowns. Like the fact that DJ Lagway, since that LSU game, has only thrown 3 interceptions here in the last 5 games, and running game going more than 110 rushing yards in 3 of the last 4 games. I think Florida's the right side here, 30-20.
We turn to Sundays, where the Texans opened up as a favorite against the Jags. I think when C.J. Stroud was ruled out, it's turned the other way. The Texans now getting 1.5 at home against Jacksonville.
Davis Mills, sometimes it's painful. I mean, he did have a few good games in 2021, 2022, but you watch him sometimes, and it's Davis, the hesitation, the windup, the pitch, the pick. Doesn't evade the rush real well, but Jacksonville doesn't do any one thing really well. Picking up a ton of penalties that cost you in close games here. Houston looking for some revenge after losing in week 3, like in division games, the second game taking the team after they lost the first game here. Barn burner. Houston 10-6.
I was going to say it was 18-15 with the Broncos last week. Yeah, Houston to top 3 defense points allowed in the league. All right, really interesting game. Obviously, AFC versus NFC. Patriots with the 6-game winning streak. Bucks, we think, are a really good team. Tampa Bay, a 2.5-point home favorite against the Patriots.
I'm going to take a different approach to this game. Going to play the total. It's like 48, 48.5. The Patriots play the least important game of the season, non-conference road game, against a good run-stopping D. So I think Drake May is going to throw the ball early and often here. Patriots haven't generated any consistent pressure against opposing passers here, and the Bucs running game hasn't been great. Last 4 wins for New England have come against the 32nd, 31st, 30th, and 28th scoring offenses here. Over 48, 48.5. I think that's the way to go. I think the Bucs might end up on top, something like 34-28.
So an over is the play on the Bucs and the Pats. Lee's game of the week is the Bills and Miami. Miami only making 1 move at the deadline. People wondering why more players weren't shipped out, but they didn't get the price they wanted. Bills coming off of a big win. How do they get it, Lee?
Just call 800-400-9741. Give them the game for free. 800-400-9741 to get the Bills and Dolphins on me. And lost 2 out of 3 big plays. Frustrating Air Force. 3 turnovers in the red zone. Outstatted their opponent. Just that happens sometimes. But looking to come back. Still had a overall winning record. 4-3 Saturday, 3-2 Sunday, won both games in Maction Tuesday and Wednesday. So you want to hop on board, not November, rest of the month all the way through Sunday, November 30th. If you use coupon code SAVE200, just $297. Also a UFC card. We call it our Super Saver card. 6 selections, not 36 or 66, $6. Buck a selection for the UFC Fight Night. Tomorrow. We got to do something to make up for that, what looked like maybe a fixed fight last Saturday. So they got to earn my trust back. That fight ended up costing us a winning card, but we still won 14 out of the last 18 cards in the UFC. So check out all the specials and all the videos. Got a bunch of other games up there I broke down and predicted. ParamountSports.com.
Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, 800-400-9741. His picks in this segment, he'll lay the 28.5 with the Canes. He'll take the Knowles and a couple points in Clemson. He'll lay the Gators in 3.5, and he'll take Houston at home to get revenge on the Jags, and he'll get a 1.5. He's going over on the Bucs-Patriots game of 48.5. His game of the week, get it for free by calling 800-400-9741, is the Bills and the Dolphins. Lee?
And Lee did before, when if you're joining us on YouTube or Twitch, you get some extras. Not picks. Well, kind of picks. He told us what sides to pick at Joe's Crab Shack or Joe's Stone Crab,
Joe's
right?
Stone Crab. Don't
Joe's-
mix up Joe's Stone Crab and Joe's Crab Shack.
Joe's Stone Crab. He gave us the sides. We all know stone
Yeah.
crabs are terrific. It's stone crab
Right.
season. Gave
Right.
us the sides to pick. A sneaky pick by saying Publix has a great key lime pie.
And something else. If you plan on just showing up at Joe's, don't do it. You'll wait about 2.5 hours. You need an in. And got a pretty good one now. I don't even break stride. So
Wow.
Nice.
Thinks this is
Nice.
good, fellas.
Are-
By the
are
way,
you- Are you in? By the way, if
Yes.
we mention
Yeah.
Lee Sterling, we
Yeah.
walk right in.
yeah, I know one of the Mater D's. Well, actually, we're going to the Heat game Wednesday night against Cleveland. So
Oh,
trust me, it is as big as Goodfellas. It's this end.
that's a big in. And
Yeah.
for me, I'm not locked into the whole Steve McQueen catalog, but
Yeah.
Papillon, far and away, my favorite Steve McQueen.
Better. That was, I think, Papillon and the Great Escape.
All right. There you go.
All right.
Covering all our bases. Lee, good luck this weekend.
All right, guys. Be good. Be safe.
ParamountSports.com, 800-400-9741. Lee Sterling and his picks and his restaurant reviews and movie reviews. I covered a lot of ground that segment.
Yeah, he kind of threw it out there. You know, he kind of let everybody know that I'm a player. That was that, I mean, Joe Stone Crab, and I mean, there are better restaurants. Miami's got a great restaurant scene, obviously.
Right.
But this time of year,
Right.
Joe Stone Crab is the
Right.
place.
And I don't break stride.
Right. Goes in the back door through the kitchen, watches a couple necking in the corner and says, "You guys again."
By the way, one take. That scene in Goodfellas, one take. Plotted it out for a long time. Bang. That was a one take, first take. Boom. That's outstanding.
We're always one take, even though we screw it up most of the time. And what we really screw up are our picks. We'll do those next. Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So, Michael, I don't know what you mean that those, because I've never been to Peter Luger's or Sparks, obviously, because I don't travel to New York. When I was there, I went to Smith and Walensky to have steak. Peter Luger's, got a 0-star review in the New York Times. So I don't know if you mean that it's overrated. I don't know what you're if it's iconic or overrated. I don't know where you're going there. But you're a player, Michael. I mean, you're in a whole different league than the rest of us. I'm just trying to get a good taco on a Tuesday night somewhere in Estero or Bonita. No, haven't been in a while. Yeah, Michael, you'd never catch me going to a restaurant for Stone. Although there's a place, I think it's Monday night, and I saw it on social. There's a place Monday night. It's, I think, in Bokeelia or somewhere on Pine Island that's doing their all-you-can-eat stone crab night, and it's like $40 a person. They would lose so much money on me because I'd be there for a day and a half. Cold, Michael. Cold. I don't need mustard sauce. I make it. It's good, but I don't need anything on stone crab. I think they are just perfect the way they are.
I did not get Netflix till the pandemic. Outside of sports, there was no original television, so.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of original television on Netflix.
I said during the pandemic, there was no original television, so I had to get Netflix to see stuff I hadn't seen before. So, yeah, no. I think Netflix has some good shows.
Wow, Deadstroke. That's funny. I have. It's been a long time since I've had whole soft shell crab. It's not. It wouldn't. It's Stone, King, Dungeness would be my top three, and then everything else is kind of far behind, in my opinion.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. An hour from now, Steve Carney will join us. We got a couple of things to discuss. Antwan Staley at the top of the Diamond District bonus hour to see whether the Jets even feel like playing this week. or whether they're just going to totally mail one in against the Browns. He covers the Jets for a living. Just going to check in, get a pulse on the team. A few days after all, you know what broke loose, and just give you a little insight as to whether they're going to show up against the Browns.
All right. This is the segment you've all been waiting for. Last week, David was 3-5, and he was far superior to yours truly in picks. We were a combined 4-9 against the number last week. On the season, I am 8 games below 500. David is 18 games below 500.
There you go. So if you're taking our picks and going the other way, you are 26 games above 500. It's a winning formula. We suggest you try it.
It's so painful.
It's awful.
There is nothing that bothers me more than this. I had a good 4 or 5 year run.
Yeah.
And I have now had 3 just miserable years in a row. Miserable. And when we give picks out on Thursdays, we're really good.
Oh, yeah. No, our free picks were money. Okay. Hey, like so-and-so tonight. Winner. Yeah, totally. Uh-huh. All right.
Stings. Go ahead.
Okay.
You go first. You won 3
Well,
games.
here's the deal. I may quit doing this if I don't win this week, and here's why. I literally looked up who are the best college football teams this season against the spread, and I'm taking them this week. Ohio State has not lost a game this year against the spread. They're 7-0-1. So I'm laying the 30.5 against Purdue. By the way, the line opened at 26. So I'm not the only one that's laying the points.
My only question for you, talked about the weather, and because I was looking at these games and I didn't feel like going back and forth with the weather in every city. You said the weather's going to be awful in Iowa City for the Oregon-Iowa game.
Right.
Is it that way across the Midwest? Is it going to be ugly in Purdue? That's the only reason I didn't pick this game as well. So, okay, I just was curious.
No,
you did some research, but you didn't do any weather research.
No, I didn't, although I will just take a look right now. Yeah, it's going to rain in Chicago. So, I mean, the rain's at least getting from Iowa to Illinois, and Purdue's not that far away. So, it's a valid point. It is. But I'm laying it anyway. Why? They're 7-0-1 against the number. San Diego State's 7-1 against the number. So I'm going to take them and lay the 6.5 at Hawaii late Saturday night. Texas Tech's 8-1 against the spread. So I'll lay the 10.5 against BYU. Mississippi State is 8-1 against the spread. So I'm going to take the 9.5 against Georgia. Then there were 2 games that I wrote down because I just like. So you may not want to play these at all. I'm taking the 6.5 with Iowa. I think they can win. And I'm laying the 6.5 with A&M because Missouri's down to their backup quarterback. And I do think that some of these SEC teams that are clinging to their rankings are going to fall by the wayside here before November is out. So that's 6 college plays. Listen, this is stupid. I know you don't bet against Lamar against the NFC. I'm taking the Vikings in the 4.5, and here's why. The Vikings scheme defensively, the heavy blitz, that is how you have to go at Lamar. He backs up in the pocket. Okay, that is how you have to attack Lamar, the way Brian Flores likes to attack. And I get 4.5 points at home. Same thing with the Niners. First off, Shanahan is 11-6 in the regular season against McVay. Getting 4.5, this is going to be a very low-scoring game. I don't know if the winning team gets to 21. Give me the Niners at home and 4.5 against the Rams. And payback for the playoffs. Angry because they lost last week. I am laying the 8.5 with the Lions. I think they take the Commanders to like a 17-point woodshed. I'm thinking like 42-24 even. So there you go. That's 9 plays.
That's David's nifty 9. So let's see. I'll take Purdue, Hawaii, BYU, Georgia, Oregon, Missouri, the Rams, the Ravens, and Washington. No?
There you go.
No, okay. No. We agree on one game. I only take 5. That's we made this a fantastic 5 a few years back, and David doesn't care. I don't care.
Listen,
Thank
you know,
God, agent and off.
right? You know, I have a problem with authority.
I know. But I am with you on A&M. Backup quarterback in Missouri. A&M is very solid. I'll lay the 6.5 on the road with Texas A&M. When teams go east to west, west to east in the Big Ten, for the most part, they've had difficulty this year. I'm going to ride that in 2 games and go against it in 1. A lot of Big Ten action for me this week. Give me USC, and I'm going to lay the 14.5 against Northwestern. That's tonight.
Yep.
Raiola, the quarterback for Nebraska, is out
For the year.
Right. So UCLA clearly has the better quarterback in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Give me UCLA. I'm only laying 1.5 at home against Nebraska. And Washington's going to go into Wisconsin and whack them. And after they announce that Fickle's staying, the crowd is going to be chanting fire Fickle again. Give me Washington. I'm going to lay the 10.5. They're still viable. Don't rule out the Huskies in the Big Ten. They have key games. They've got Oregon coming to them. I think they take care of it. And I said it earlier in the show. Don't screw it up, Bears. I'm confident in you after the way Caleb played last week. Yes, your defense stunk. I get it. Joe Flacco's been making a lot of defenses look bad. I'm going to take the Bears and lay the 4.5 against the Giants. So those are my 5. If I were you, I'd go the other way. Probably go 3 and 2.
So there you have it. I made 9 choices. Mark made 5. 1's the same. So you have 13 opportunities to go the other way. Guaranteed a winning week. You know what bothered me? I was looking up
This
the college. I was looking up the college teams and their records against the spread. You know, Pitt's only lost twice against the spread. Of course, literally both times I've been on them. Literally both times I've been on them. Okay. Otherwise, they've been money against the spread. Utah the same way, by the way. Utah's lost twice against the number. I was on them both times. That's the kind of year I'm having. I picked every college football team who has either not lost against the spread or only lost once this year. They're all in these picks. Okay? So if I go down in flames this week, honestly, I may be done for the year.
Little nugget from my kid. East Carolina's never beaten Charlotte. East Carolina's laying 29.5 against Charlotte. Almost took the 49ers there. But I didn't. Why would you do that? Why, when you get a trend, why would you bother to take it?
Why would you get inside information like that? Why would you play it?
Right. Just pass it up. I'll pass it along to the people who listen to the show, but I'm not going to do it.
I mean, you just spent a week with him. What the hell does he know, right?
Well, there's no doubt there. I really hope that there are some of you out there that have just gone the other way all year on our bets. Yes. I really do. I really and truly do. Because there is no segment that I want to be good more than this one, and it just sucks.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
They've cut the nets, they've raised the banners, and now they're headed to Fort Myers. Michigan State, North Carolina, and other top programs take the court in the Skechers Fort Myers tip-off this Thanksgiving week. Legendary programs, championship traditions, college basketball's biggest names, live at Suncoast Arena. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now at FortMyersTipOff.com/go. That's FortMyersTipOff.com/go.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Starting, Martin, where the hell have you been? We've been that way for 3 years. We suck. David.
In fairness to me, though, I've sucked in September. I've gotten back to 500 each of the last 2 years, which is still losing money against the VIG. But this year, 18 below 500. 18 below. Unreal.
David, these are guys who are flat out losing their cards. Now, Zach Johnson, he's old, but he has no chance of keeping his kids. Top 100 keep their card.
Right.
Top 125 get conditional.
Right.
Zach Johnson, 135. You know, Frankie Sapp in there, he's 142. Sahith Thagala, who was a hot shot a couple of years ago, 143. Cameron Champ, 144. Luke List, 147. Will Zalatoris, 151. Charlie Hoffman's on that list in the 150s.
Right.
Crazy. Webb Simpson. Now, I think he had an injury, didn't he? But
Well, and so is Zalatoris, I think.
Kevin Streelman's 180. I mean, Kuchar's going to be in the conditional. Billy Horschel's in the conditional right now.
They're both playing in Mexico.
Tom Kim's in the conditional right now. I mean, that's crazy.
Yep.
Max Homa barely keeping his card at 97.
That's if he can hold on. Now,
right.
Homa would be able to, there's a couple of exemptions.
Yeah. No, I know it's
right.
I mean, it's just it.
Right, but 2 years ago, Max Homa was top 10 in the world.
Thank you.
Right, and now he's barely keeping his card. Well, but also, do you still have that list?
I can get it quickly. I closed it, but go ahead.
How much do you have to make to be 100?
I don't. It doesn't have the money. They don't.
It doesn't have the money.
It just has the points.
Gotcha.
But here, let me just see what number 100 is at. Number 100 is Victor Perez. They just don't put money up here anymore. 1.28.
Right.
They broke off with Penn, Ryan. Penn and ESPN ended their agreement way early. 2 years into what, a 10-year agreement, David?
3, I think, into
3.
but they had an option by the end of this year to get out. And ESPN exercised it.
ESPN exercised it or Penn exercised it?
Well, I think they both did because ESPN then had an announcement right away. They went with DraftKings. So our buddy Frankie Sappin, who's 141st on the list, has made $833,000 this year.
And you're heading to the Corn Ferry Tour, my friend. Who won a major, Puck?
You talking Webb Simpson?
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Thanks for being with us on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We'll make our picks on the NFL games straight up. Coming up, the NFL's been very streaky lately in terms of good week for the road teams and good week for the home teams. Really good week for the road teams. Really good week for the home teams. I mean, last week, I think road teams went like 10-4 straight up. Week before that, I think home teams were 11-3. I mean, just been streaky. Don't know if it continues or not. But we'll make our picks coming up. Baseball free agency's underway. Teams making a lot of decisions in the last 48 hours as to whether or not to keep certain guys, extend qualifying offers, pick up option years or not. Steve Carney will join us in about 40 minutes. Raised with a couple of interesting decisions yesterday, and I think one is very concerning. And we'll talk briefly with Steve Carney about that coming up in about 40 minutes' time.
By the way, just a quick sidebar, and we'll spend 3 minutes on this. But right now, you remember for a while, David, it was Charles Robinson from Yahoo.
Right.
If he wrote something about you, it was bad.
Right.
You did not want Charles Robinson investigating you, your university, your team, whatever he was going after.
Yep.
That meant, uh-oh.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
Isn't that now if Pablo Torre comes after you?
He does seem to be the only one who's doing any digging.
Pablo finds out as the podcast. And, well, he's picked a new target.
What? You mean it's not just Steve Ballmer?
No. It's Phil Mickelson.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's a whole, insider information on stock trade type thing. And
well, wait,
the detail.
Didn't we go down that road with Phil already? Wasn't he investigated by the feds? And wasn't he like an unindicted co-conspirator and they took down the gambler instead?
Yes. But again, he's he's now picked Phil out on something else.
Oh, new stuff.
Yes. So again, I'm just kind of glancing over it. But right now, of all the people doing reporting on sports in this country, I would just say I don't want my name associated with Pablo Torre.
No.
If he's posting things on X about me, I'm nervous.
It's
That's
gotten
all.
so bad about Steve Ballmer and the Clippers and this, what was the name of that company again? Aspiration?
Yes, exactly right.
He has uncovered so much inflammatory information and evidence against Ballmer and this company and its relationship with Kawhi and all the money that was funneled to Kawhi, that it would look as if Adam Silver and the folks at the NBA are corrupt if they don't do something significant against Ballmer. You really have to have your head in the sand. I mean, this would be, if you presented Pablo Torre's case to a jury, okay, it would be one thing if the jury came back hung. It'd be another thing if the jury said, oh, no, not guilty. Well, you'd go, what? What? I mean, and I have no faith in Adam Silver, by the way. No. Because they owe Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer single-handedly changed the valuations, not just of NBA teams. I can argue he single-handedly changed the valuations of North American pro sports teams.
Think about it. Ballmer bought the Clippers for $2 billion. Do you think the Suns ever get $4 billion for that franchise without Ballmer making that ridiculous purchase? He basically said, I want a team, and I'll spend whatever it takes to get one because I've got it.
I'm pretty sure no one had ever paid $1 billion for an NBA team when Ballmer said, give me the Clips for 2.1. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, let's just end this. I want the Clippers. Okay, give me the Clippers. And the rest of the NBA said, so let me get this straight. You get to like double our team evaluations overnight, and we get to get rid of the racist in Donald Sterling. And maybe we have sound ownership in the second biggest market in the country? Seriously? And now... Sorry, Mark.
No. You're right. Now franchises are going for unbelievable. I mean, across the board. It doesn't matter the sport. We've never seen franchises worth and rising at the rate they're rising.
Think about it. The guy who owned the Timberwolves made a deal to sell them for $1.5 billion. And 10 minutes after he made that deal, he realized, what was I thinking? I could get double this for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Seriously? And that's why he tried to back out of the deal for 2 years, and eventually they upheld the deal.
And who knows if the franchises will continue to rise at the rate they're rising, but that's why, that's why Davis and Vegas sold. That's why these teams are selling off percentages, because they're getting huge cash.
The Giants just sold off 10% of their franchise. The New York Giants for $1 billion. So obviously, figure out the valuation of the team.
By the way, the other thing Pablo Torre did recently with the whole betting NBA scandal, everybody looked at it as two separate things: the card games and the prop bet point shaving type, if you will. He's tied them together. He did it in a podcast. It's an interesting listen if you want to give it a shot. But just thought I would just, to me right now, the last thing you want is to open up your X account and see Pablo Torre having you linked to anything.
Right.
That would make me go, oh, no, please, no.
You come into the office and there's a message on your desk from your secretary, Pablo Torre called. Here's his number. Can you call him back? I mean, you could literally grab that message, you walk in, you start yelling, not too much at the secretary. You just raise your voice at the secretary. He called. When did he call? Well, did he say what he was calling about? Well, I've never talked to this guy. What does he want? What does he want to talk to me for? Did he say anything to you? I've answered this question to you now 3 times. No. Well, why is he calling me? I don't want to call him back, by the way. If he calls, I'm out. I'm out. I'll keep this number in case the time comes I need to call him. But if he calls again, I'm out. I'm always out. I'm unavailable. I'm out of the country when he calls.
By the way, one other little cool sports story, and then we'll get back to football. But 2 nights ago, Calgary played Columbus in hockey. Trust me, no one cares, not even Miller and Moulton. But Nazem Kadri, it was his 1,000th NHL game. And usually when you've seen it, probably if you pay any attention to hockey, you've seen this. Usually the coach reads the starters and the guys get fired up and then they go on the ice. For Kadri's 1,000th game, they brought his daughter in to read the starters. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. All right, back to football. We talked about enough other things on a Football Friday for a while. Time to get back to football. Do you have an upset on Saturday this week, David? I mean, I guess, do you think Iowa, you're taking Iowa in the points. Do you think Iowa is going to win outright?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think they're going to win.
That would be tremendous. It really would.
And
it also could put the Big Ten at a point that they might only get 2. Because Iowa's then got to win out to get in.
Which they probably, won't do unless you think they're going to go to USC and then beat USC the next week. And then USC, imagine if Iowa beats Oregon, USC beats Iowa, and then USC plays at Oregon. Now, I think if you're 10-2 in the Big Ten, you make the playoff. Yes? No? I think Oregon can lose one of their remaining games.
I agree with that. Oregon at 10-2 is in to me.
Even though, now in theory, they'll win 2 of these 3 games. So one of these wins will be their, quote, best win, because up until now, what's Oregon's best win?
Penn State.
At the time they beat them, that was undefeated number 3 Penn State. Right. Mm-hmm.
But do you think now with Kelly getting fired, do you think LSU has any shot, or do you think Alabama just blows their doors off them? It's 9.5 in that game. 9.5 for LSU, Alabama.
I don't know about blows their doors off, but I do think that Alabama will score against everybody. And I don't think LSU gets to 27 against Alabama, if you know what I mean. And they may even need a little bit more than that. It's not a big upset. But, I had a really good feeling last week about UCF. And turns out that Baylor rallied the troops trying to save Dave Aranda's job. Now UCF's at home. They got Houston tonight. They're a slight dog. UCF really needs a win here if they want to go to a bowl. They're 4-4.
It's not that they just need a win. They have to win tonight to go to a bowl. They are not winning at Texas Tech, and they are not winning at BYU. I'm just saying, we all know that. They can't beat those 2 teams. They're not good enough right now. But they do host Oklahoma State.
Right.
If they win their 2 home games tonight against Houston, Oklahoma State in a couple of weeks, that gets them to 6-6. And for Frost, I think David, I actually think that I would give them a B on the season if they get to 6-6.
Yes,
I would.
We said at the beginning of the year, we went through their schedule. We went through the fact they had 73 new players, a total revamp of a roster. And we said, you know what? If they can get to a bowl, good for them. That would be a successful season. No 5-7. Got to get to 6-6. I'm with you, Mark. And it's why I think they win tonight. I should have played it. I'm getting a 1.5, but I think UCF wins tonight when they are a slight underdog. For what it's worth, the money's been coming in on UCF. The line has moved a point here in the last 2 days.
Yeah, I'd take Houston, and here's why. Houston was still viable in the Big 12 until they blew it last week at home. They choked like a big, hairy dog against a terrible West Virginia team. They're not going to lay an egg 2 weeks in a row. It has been a horrific week of practice for those young men, and they're coming into UCF honked off that they blew a golden opportunity. They're going bowling. They're 7-2, so their season is still going to be viewed as an accomplishment. But I think tonight they take down UCF. I don't think the bounce house is as bouncy as it's been, because I think the fans and the students are frustrated with where their program is right now.
The only team, and I don't know why I didn't do this, the only team who has lost one time or less against the spread this year that I did not take in my weekly picks is tonight. Memphis is 8-1 against the number this year. And they're only a 4.5-point home favorite against Tulane.
Should have
Just
taken
saying.
the Tigers. I can't believe you didn't.
I can't either.
You know they're going to win, though.
Darn right.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but two elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
I love finding that special buy, that one-of-a-kind item that I know nobody else has, that we're proud to show and represent.
Don't be intimidated. Our sales team is not commissioned. They're here only to be here for you. They're here to educate. They're here to listen to you, listen to what your needs are, and help you find the perfect diamond and marry it with the perfect ring. You're going to find it here. It's here. This is what we do, and this is what we've done for over 20 years.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So, David, I have a question for you, and I probably should have texted you this, but I'll admit my ignorance to our Twitch and YouTube audience. What are we talking raise for? Is there a stadium thing I didn't see?
Because of the moves they made this week and the fact that they came out and they said they weren't going to spend more money this year. They also announced they're going to do spring training in Port Charlotte.
Okay.
I mean, if you want, I can.
No. I was digging and looking. I saw the moves. I just wanted to make sure there was something I didn't miss.
And their decision to not pick up the $11 million option on their closer is actually a very bad sign. Because if nothing else, you pick up the option and you trade him.
Right.
And you'd get something of value. He's a top 5 reliever now, is going to be on the market. But I can wait till next week. I can just text Steve.
No. It's a short segment. I just asked a question. I'm not. I don't. David, you, as long as it's not OJ's manager, I'm pretty good with any guess that we have. That Ozzie Smith
had to have been with us a while. That was the most surprising bad interview that we've ever done.
We never aired it. It was so bad. We did not air that interview. We didn't do it live. We taped it. We had Ozzie Smith on to promote some sort of food thing he was doing.
And if you listen to us, you know we get right to the promotion right away.
And we did.
Yep.
And that's all he would talk about.
Right.
We asked him a question about,
baseball,
his prowess at shortstop, and he goes back to how to make a pizza. Like, it's 3-4 questions in. And the funny thing is that back then, John, we did a lot of, this is Ozzie Smith, and you're listening to Miller and Moulton on Sports Radio 770 or whatever frequency we were on then. So John would get him to do that before the interview. Hey, would you cut a promo for these guys? And most people said yes. Some wouldn't. And he did. So we ran the promo.
Right.
And we never aired the interview. The interview was so bad after about 4 questions, the 3 of us are looking at each other going, what the hell's going on? He won't talk baseball. Ozzie Smith.
And we were very excited to have him. He's a Hall of Famer, for goodness sakes.
Right. One of the best defensive shortstops that's ever played the damn game.
Yep.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton Coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Unless you're in Port Charlotte, Venice, Live Oak, Lake City, then it's the final hour of Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Steve Carney coming up in 20 minutes. Antwan Staley 1 hour from now at the top of the Diamond District bonus hour.
So we're going to have to move our NFL picks up, aren't we? We're going to have to do that at 8:38 because we pick our games straight up, usually at 9 a.m. on a Friday.
Correct. But no Pat Kerwin today. Pat's schedule, he had to travel, and so he did join us twice this week, but he normally joins us at this day and time, and he's not today. So there.
Pelican Roofing of Florida text line is open, and you have been using it all morning, and I appreciate all of your texts, even though most of them have been slamming Miller and Moulton, and it's okay, and we understand why. Like this gentleman said, David, please don't quit making picks. I've been crushing it going the other way. Please don't.
Great. Okay, seriously, thank goodness. I hope you're telling the truth and it's not just a one-liner. Okay, because Miller and Moulton want somebody to be doing well with these picks. My goodness.
And Pelican Roofing of Florida text line 21,000. If you've never texted the show, you need to text a keyword in. That keyword is Miller. Text Miller to 21,000. Then you can text as much as you would like. Pelican Roofing of Florida, 1-866-9-PELICAN, 1-866-9-PELICAN. If you need a new roof, call them. We'd like to keep them on as a sponsor for a little while. So there.
Do you think any of the big boys in college ball get upset this week? You know, Indiana's only had one close game. Do we think Penn State has anything? Anything? Indiana's at Penn State. They're like 14.5 point favorites. You know,
no, I don't.
Georgia at Mississippi State, almost a double-figure favorite. It's in between the Florida and Texas games.
I like what Bud said on Wednesday. In case you missed it, Bud, and I asked him that very question because Mississippi State played Tennessee at home tough, played Texas at home tough. What will they have for Georgia? And it is interesting because Mississippi State had success against Texas. They like to run the ball. Georgia's run defense is really good. Where you can get at Georgia's throwing the football. Mississippi State doesn't do it all that well. But I do think Georgia better be ready early. I don't think Georgia needs to get themselves in a hole against Mississippi State, but there's no better Georgia in the fourth quarter or the Broncos in the fourth quarter. Who do you like better right now? Really and truly.
Georgia close, only because they've done it against better competition. You know.
Well, I mean, the Broncos did do it against the Eagles in the fourth quarter.
No, they did. They did. I mean, there are so many teams that are in both Saturdays and Sundays that are really tough to figure out. There's not the consistency with as many teams, I think, as there normally is. I think on Sundays that's caused because of injuries. And I think on Saturdays that's caused because rosters aren't as deep anymore. And teams, quite frankly, aren't as good because the talent is more spread out. And that's why I don't think you have the consistency. That's why what Alabama's done here is impressive. Okay, even if you think some of the SEC teams are overranked and overrated, and I do, it's still the best conference, clearly. All right, but what Alabama's done here, back to back to back to back to back, I mean, they beat solid to good to very good teams all in a row here.
What I'm slightly interested in is the bottom of the playoff rankings, David, because This is the cover that committee uses to try to prop up certain teams. Like right now, Tennessee's 25th. Missouri is 22nd. Those two teams, and if A&M disposes of Missouri the way you and I think that they will this week, what then does that, where do they take Missouri? Because they will have lost to the number 3 team. So do they drop them out of the top 25 with their third loss, or do they keep them in? You know, Iowa and USC are both barely in the top 20. Michigan's 21. But I just wonder with the bottom of the rankings, because you and I have talked about this for a while. This is the cover that committee uses to make sure they put certain teams in certain spots.
No doubt. No doubt, which all of a sudden they make the schedule look better than what it was a week or two before. By the way, I do want to clarify something. When I said, and Mark made the analogy, who do you like in the fourth quarter better, Broncos or Bulldogs? And I said, I'll go Georgia close because of the level of competition they played. I meant it's all relative. Like people are already commenting, you really think the college is better than the pro? No. But I think that Georgia's fourth quarter performances, that the level of the college teams that they've played is better than the level of the NFL teams that the Broncos have played. But yes, Broncos 7 wins in a row. Can't disparage it. Okay. You know, Jets, Giants, Raiders, you know, I mean, oof.
And first off, the fact that you had to clarify that's damn near laughable in itself, that someone could actually take that and say, oh, do you think that the college team is better than the pro? Have you been listening to this show for 4 seconds? I mean, come on. That's ridiculous, first and foremost. We also told everybody that the Broncos were going to go on this run. We thought they were going to lose to the Eagles, but we thought that they would go on a tremendous run after that because of the level of competition they were playing. We said the same thing about the New England Patriots. And I agree with Mike Vrabel. Hey, the NFL makes your schedule. You don't get, it's not college where you get to make your own schedule. You're not, They're not Notre Dame picking who they play each week. Here's your schedule. Go play it. Some years you get an easier schedule than others. You have no idea. And there are a lot of people that don't, you know, Orlando Elzagari that comes on our show a lot. Orlando Elzagari hates the schedule game. Miller and Moulton don't. We never have. Sometimes you're dead wrong about a team heading into the year. That team this year was the New England Patriots for most people. We thought they were going to be good. We thought that they were a 9-8 team, maybe an 8-9 team. I didn't see 11 coming for the Patriots.
Never mind the fact there's a possibility of 12 or 13 now.
Right. I mean, they just win the games they're supposed to win. They can get to 13.
And the Patriots are taking advantage of the fact that even before the season started, the teams in the AFC East were seen as playing softer schedules than most of the rest of the league. Well, then their softer schedule has actually gotten softer with some of the teams that are on their schedule and how they're now performing. But I mean, the Patriots, you know, I could see where they'd be angry, but they're just lining up and playing who they're told to play. But they've played Carolina when Carolina was on the road early in the season. We all know how well they were performing. Now they went to Buffalo. And that's why if they go to Tampa and win, we got to talk about the Patriots differently. But New England's just beaten the Saints, the Titans, the Browns. They just barely held off the Falcons. You know, and as we've mentioned, they still have 2 more games against the Jets and a home game against the Dolphins. I mean, the Patriots are at 7 right now. You could book them for 10 just with the division games they have left.
But the Broncos, they lost to the Colts. They lost to the Chargers. They've beaten the Titans, a Bengals team without Burrow. They did come back and beat the Eagles. But after that, it was the Jets, the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Texans that they beat by 3 while knocking out their starting quarterback, and the Raiders last night. Now, next week, they play the Chiefs at home. Okay, now we're talking. They beat the Chiefs. People are going to go, who's going to be the number one, Denver or Indianapolis? And the Colts obviously hold the tiebreaker in that. But they play, they've got to play a game against the Packers. They play the Chiefs twice. They finish with the Chargers. I think Denver's going to get to 12. It looks as if they can split with the Chiefs, they're going to win that division.
And that's why it's important to win the games. We like to say, when the schedule maker gives you a win, you need to take it. They won last night. They were lousy offensively, and they had more special teams blunders, but they did block a punt, and their defense played the way their defense normally plays. And it was enough to win. And you just take it and enjoy your weekend off.
And when we look at this weekend schedule, we've said the same thing about a few teams. There's some really good NFL games this weekend, but there are other games that are in that must-win category. Carolina's got it going on. You can't deny that they've been winning games. Don't screw up at home against the Saints. Chicago, nice win last week, even though you tried to give it away. Don't screw it up against the Giants. And yes, it's a road game, Detroit, but you better go into Washington against Mariota and beat them. Or we can't look at you the way we looked at you in August. We can't. So that's, Buffalo, don't screw it up at Miami. Seattle, don't screw it up at home against Arizona. So, and particularly the teams with the Niners and the Rams playing, it's a big one for Seattle because they've still got a lot of division games left. And David, in August, you and I said, I've got no clue who's winning the NFC West. Here we are in November, and I can look at you very sincerely and say, I got no clue who's winning the NFC West. No clue.
Do we think Atlanta has any fight tomorrow in Berlin or Sunday?
Strange things happen in Europe.
Because they gave the Patriots everything they could handle. They were a missed extra point away from overtime. They're 3-5. A loss, and they're done. Done. And people are talking about firing the coach. And then all of a sudden, the Colts could have a 2-game losing streak.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but 2 elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance for tickets. Go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, Steve.
Good morning, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic, especially after last night.
I think they're finding their stride, man. I was worried about both Florida teams, and as much of a Red Wing fan as I am and enjoying the fact that it's going to help my team, but I'm after that, I'm a Tampa fan. My time with the Atlanta Knights, I've always had a soft spot for the Lightning, and they figured it out.
Yep, they've figured it out. And then I was working the USF football game last night.
Oh,
so
nice.
Oh yeah.
He'd have kicked the damn field goal, they'd be in different shape right now.
Yes, sir. I agree with you on that 100%.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour, and Steve Carney joins us. So we can cover a lot of bases in a short period of time with Steve Carney. He's part of the Lightning Radio Network. He covers armed services football. He covered the South Florida game last night. He, of course, covers Major League Baseball with a focus on the Rays. All right, Steve, first off, you're at the Bulls game last night. Is that the best team in the American? Okay, your beloved Navy midshipmen are going to host them in 8 days. The winner could probably play for the conference title, but the team you saw last night, is that the best team in the American?
To put it succinctly, David, yes, I definitely think they are the best team in the American Conference. I think that they easily have the best quarterback, and that's with even, not sending any shade towards Blake Horvath of Navy. I think that Byron Brown is just that much better than every other quarterback in that conference. I think that when he has all of his pieces that are healthy, which he didn't yesterday, Sam Franklin did play, but he has turf toe. Chaz Nimrod, one of his top targets on the outside, is going to be back for the Navy game. They thought he might be able to go last night, but he was not able to. They expect him to play next Saturday against the Midshipmen in Annapolis. I think that offense is just absolutely spectacular. And the defense, you saw what happened last night. It made the offense wait until about 2 minutes left in the first quarter before they even got a snap on offense, because they took two UTSA offensive drives and turned them into defensive touchdowns.
Is Brown that elusive, or did UTSA just not know how to tackle last night? There were so many times they had him dead to rights behind the line of scrimmage, and he'd either escape and get 2 yards or escape and get 5 yards. And the other thing is, and this I've seen before, he seems to always fall forward. Like, I mean, he always seems to get that extra 2 yards while being tackled, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I would expect Brown to be welcomed into the hallowed halls of Valhalla when he gets done. He falls forward so much. For me, we talked about this last night. We thought that UTSA just didn't realize that you can't tackle Byron Brown up high. He's going to shrug you off, and he's going to just keep moving forward. I laughed. I heard John Gruden mentioning this on Barstool. I think he was saying, Byron Brown, he's listed at like 6'5" and 240, and he's probably 6'7" and 260. He's an enormous human being, and you try and tackle him up high, you're just asking for trouble.
Byron Brown, 14 to 15 throwing last night for 2 touchdowns. Only ran the ball 9 times, had 109 yards and a touchdown.
And was out of the game before the end of the third quarter.
South Florida only ran 50 plays and scored 55 points in the demolition of UTSA last night. Huge one a week from tomorrow for South Florida at Navy. All right, quickly, we always bring you on to talk Rays. Why in the world did they not offer or pick up the $11 million option on their closer, Pete Fairbanks? Even if you just then trade him. I I mean, Steve, if he's going to be one of the 5 best relievers on the market, how do you not offer him a contract?
Yeah, it's a good question. I know I wrote on Rays Insider that I thought that the Rays should pick up the contract, but and this was a month ago, I knew that they weren't going to. Mostly because I don't know if you want to have the guy that's going to be your second highest paid player be a guy that's only going to get about 50 innings of work. So,
well, trade him.
Yeah,
pick it up and trade him.
And then the question is, are you going to be able to get enough back for what you're going to end up paying him? I think that they see this as a lose-lose situation. And I think that they believe that they have enough in the bullpen now. Now I've said, Edwin Uceda took a step back in 2025. Mason Montgomery throws 102, but doesn't know where it's going. And I think that's kind of scary. And Manuel Rodriguez had flexor tendon surgery, and he's not going to be ready until the middle of the season. So I am kind of curious to see what they're going to do for who's going to, come in the 9th inning with a short lead.
We've all watched the Rays for a decade do more with less than any team, maybe in sports, not just baseball, but maybe in sports. New ownership comes in and promises they're going to be different. Are they waiting until they buy the land? I mean, as Burgess Meredith once famously said, what are we waiting for?
Oh, there's nothing better than a good Burgess Meredith reference. I personally like some of the ones you get from Grumpy Old Men, which I think would describe us on this show. But I think that, they're still trying to figure out, and feel their way through the start of an off season. This is a brand new group that's taken over the Zalupski group with Bill Cosgrove. Ken Babby's going to be running things on a day-to-day basis on the business side. I think that, if you think that this payroll is going to go from $80 million to $160 million overnight, I think you're feeding yourself a line. So I think that this is a group that's going to have to really depend on what Eric Neander and the baseball operations department tells them, especially early on. And what that means is probably you're going to see a very similar size payroll in 2026 that you see in 2025.
And they did announce that spring training next year is in Port Charlotte, right?
It is in Port Charlotte. They announced the schedule starting February 21st. There's 30 games, and then also an exhibition against the Netherlands team in Port Charlotte that will take place on March 4th before the World Baseball Classic.
Quickly, you do a lot of work with the Lightning. Are they back? If you know what I mean, like, are what we're seeing now the Lightning, or are they just on a nice little stretch here? Because we were really worried at the start of the year. Oh my goodness, did this team get old in 3 days?
Yeah, I mean, they started 1-5-2. So I mean, that's the worst start in this franchise's history. And so I thought that, there was certainly going to be an issue moving forward. John Cooper, has tweaked the lines a little bit. They've got some of these young kids now, in making significant playing time. You saw Dominic James last night in Vegas get his first NHL point, followed by his first NHL goal, and in a 6-3 win. I think that they finally have the lines where they like them. And so with some of these young kids taking some valuable playing time from guys that have had some experience at the NHL level, I think this is where John Cooper wants this team moving forward.
And Vasilevsky, who got off to a rough start, is playing much better. The save percentage up over 90 now. That, I think, will continue to get better. And come on, if he's not playing well, they're in trouble, period.
Yeah, I think that having not played in training camp for Vasilevsky, I mean, he only got one start and he only played half the game. I think that this is This was kind of like getting him warmed up, and now he's ready to go. And Johansson, as the backup, has looked fantastic. I know that they want to get him in a few more games. They don't want Vassie doing 65 to 70 games this year. And if Johansson is playing the way that Johansson is playing all year long, I think that can be a possibility that you only see Vassie for 60 games at the most.
You know, and a 55-27 2-1 rotation might work very well. They do it in New York with Shesterkin and Quick. Steve Carney covers a lot of sports, talks about a lot of sports. Follow him on X at Steve Carney. Steve, we'll talk next week about Navy South Florida, okay?
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
Steve Carney, kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton. He's got the Yards and Stripes podcast on Armed Services Football. Check that
Navy
out.
South Florida is a big game for the Bulls.
Big. Both teams. Winner could very well be in the American Championship game. Back to football. Next. Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Man, did my day just get better.
Good.
I wasn't a big fan of, well, not a big, it was an okay group I was playing golf with today. Not a great group, an okay group. And one guy dropped out. It was just a threesome, which I hate playing in threesomes. So we got combined with another group because some people dropped. And now I've got a great foursome. Three really good guys. Makes the day a lot better.
Good.
Because Wednesday was a stretch, David. Wednesday was a stretch. The one guy, and I do like him, but he's a curmudgeon. He's an older dude. He still refs high school basketball. And I believe if he's not 80, he's late 70s. Still reffing varsity basketball. By the way, you think there's a referee problem in this for youth sports? Because he's He's doing 30 games, but he doesn't like somehow because I went by my buddies who had played with Ray Bork there last week, and they're playing. I just looked over. I said, so who you got today? Gronk, Bird? What Hall of Famer from Boston you got with you? And the guy's like, I heard Ray Bork was here. I didn't even know who he was. I'm like, he's like one of the 10 best defensemen that ever played. He goes, I've never, this guy's 80 years old. He goes, I've never cared about hockey in my life. He's a New Yorker. He loves his hoop. And he literally said to me, he goes, I might like that sport if they didn't have goalies. And then we're halfway down the hole, we're playing. And he goes, so don't you think that? And I'm like, no, it's the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. I said, why don't we make the hoop 14 feet? How about that? But it was interesting. He said they had a big meeting with the referees. And if the ball goes off the board, even if it's on the way up, if you block the ball after it's gone off the board, it's goaltending. And they had this huge conversation with the referees that if the guy's right there on the spot and doesn't call it, but the back referee calls the goaltend. And we had this discussion. What do we do if he's wrong, essentially? I said, to me, the offense gets the ball. It's like football when you pick up the flag on a pass interference.
Yeah, offense should, baseline inbound or side.
Right.
Inbound, right.
The lead official should be able to say, you were wrong. I had this. And he's like, I agree with you, but I go, so my guess is you're going, I said, since we don't have jump balls anymore, you're going possession arrows. And he said, yeah. I'm like, I hate it. He goes, I do too. He goes, but since the ball's no one possesses the ball once it's been shot. I'm like, yeah, I got you, but you made the wrong call. That's where we were. He goes, isn't it our job to make the right call no matter what? And I'm like, yeah, that's your only job.
Did he bring up no shot clock though? Because that to me, like, does Florida now have a shot clock?
I don't know the answer to that. Outside of City of Palms, I've never attended a high school basketball game in the state of Florida. I think I've only been to 3 high school football games since I've lived here. Maybe 4. I went to an Estero game against North Fort Myers when Divine was playing.
Right. No, Divine.
I've been to 4. I went to a Naples, Immokalee game when Immokalee had like 6 D1 kids. I went to a Barron Naples game when I first moved here because I was told that was a big deal. It wasn't. Barron Collier band, really good. And then I saw
outstanding.
And then I saw Verreau play St. Thomas Aquinas last year. Lived here over 25 years, been to 4 high school football games.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Antwan Staley will join us then. A little perspective now that we've had about 72 hours for everything to soak in and ruminate with what the Jets have done. Will they even show up, or will they just mail one in against the Browns this weekend? And that's where we go now on Miller and Moulton on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Time to make our picks. You had a good week last week. We disagreed on 3 games, and you got them all right.
Yeah, I've closed the gap. You're up 2 on me.
Yep.
As we head to week 10. We'll start with the Sunday morning affair in Berlin, Atlanta, and Indianapolis. David, I'm taking a flyer. Sometimes things just go wrong across the pond for good teams. I'm going to take Atlanta.
Well, they should be more desperate. They're 3-5. Do you know the Falcons have a top 6 defense statistically in the league?
I did not know that.
And yet they're 3-5. Head coach is going to pay the price ultimately. If the Colts had beaten the Steelers last week, I liked your hunch, but give me the Colts.
Baltimore at Minnesota. In Lamar, I trust. I think that the Ravens will beat Minnesota I just think it's difficult to play against Lamar. I like the points you made earlier in making your picks, but I'm going to take the elite quarterback against the young quarterback.
And I'm going to take the Vikings because styles make a fight. The way Brian Flores plays defense is the way to attack Lamar. And I am not buying that all of a sudden this Ravens defense has turned it around on a dime. That's one of the 5 best wide receiving cores and tight end combinations in the league. It's probably one of the 3 best. Okay? Prove it to me. Cover them. I dare you.
I when you said 5 best, I was going to say, give me the other 4. It might be the best, for crying out loud. It's a great point. I'm taking Lamar here in a high-scoring game. New England at Tampa. The Bucs are all banged up. No Bucky Irving, which means they've had no luck running. Since he's been out, they have not been able to run the football. Baker has not been able to get away and run the football in the last couple of weeks. I have difficulty saying this because it's a hell of a win streak, but I'm going to take the Patriots on the road.
I'm going to take the Bucs because Baker Mayfield is going to lead them down the field late and win the game. And he's going to have to because they're not going to be able to run the ball. The Patriots are the best run defense in the league, and the Bucs have struggled to run the ball, period. And with Bucky not coming back this week, they ain't going to be able to run the ball. So Baker's going to have to throw it. And I'm going to bet on Baker Mayfield over Drake May at the end of the day. And I think the Bucs defense, the blitz package, not sure that May has seen what he's going to see Sunday.
They better get him because if he gets away, the kid can run. Jacksonville at Houston. Such a big game for the Jags. Backup quarterback. Don't they have to win? Give me Jacksonville. That's a sweep too, and that's a tough prediction to make. It really is.
Yes, they have to win. They do. This is maybe the best defense in the league. It's given up the fewest yards, and it's, I believe, 3rd in points allowed. They're in top 5 of both pass defense and rush defense. That's what Trevor Lawrence is going up against. And they've lost their running game, and their receivers don't catch the ball. Mark, the only way the Jags win this game is if Davis Mills throws interceptions. I think this will be very low scoring. We probably should have taken the under. I'm going to take the Texans.
That's 4 games. We haven't agreed on one. And we're not going to agree on this one either. It's Cleveland at the Jets. And the smart play is here. If you're smart, you take Cleveland. You've listened to me for a long time. No one's ever accused me of being smart. For some reason, I think making the trades and Jacksonville, rather in the Jets, I think Aaron Glenn's going to get this team to perform well. And Cleveland can't score. The Jets are going to get enough. This is another one that don't you have to bet the under if you're playing it. Jets, Jets.
38.5 is the under. And the Jets defensively just got a lot worse very quickly. And I think Dylan Gabriel and Stefanski can take advantage of it. The other thing is, how many times does Myles Garrett sack Justin Fields? Over under 2.5. Give me Cleveland.
New Orleans at Carolina. Let's see if we can agree on a game. Carolina gets it done at home. They've got to. The Saints aren't a very good team. They don't play well at home. They don't play well on the road. I'll take Carolina, who's pretty good at home.
Well, they're very good at home. Their only home loss is to Buffalo. I will say this, Mark. The Panthers in their last 3 games have scored 13, 9, and 16 points. Okay, it's 38 points. They've gone 2-1, but they've scored 38 points in 3 games. I know Bryce Young has been banged up and what have you. Panthers need to find their mojo offensively. They got Atlanta, San Francisco, the Rams coming up afterwards.
You're taking Carolina, though, right?
Of course.
Okay. Well, I just needed to hear you confirm it. Giants at Chicago. I have said this is a don't screw it up game for the Bears. The Giants have played hard every week. I know there are people that want Dable gone. We always talk about, do you play hard for the coach? They play hard every week. They're just not good. Give me Chicago.
Their defense has gotten bad. And I thought the defense there in the middle had kind of figured things out, and it's awful again. And it shouldn't be, because they've got a defensive line that should be creating havoc. I like Chicago a lot in this game. It'll be messy. Giants without Scatterboo don't have the running game that they had, Mark, when they were playing, beat the Chargers, beat the Eagles, were very competitive. The loss of Scatterboo has hurt them. They're not as balanced anymore. I mean, think about it. No neighbors. Their top back is out, and they're 2-7. Bears.
Buffalo at Miami. Do you have any reason to believe that the Miami Dolphins can be competitive? Like, I don't think they have a chance at winning. Do you think they can even cover the 9.5? I'm obviously taking Buffalo in this game. Does Buffalo sleepwalk enough to let Miami cover?
I don't think so, because Josh and them always score 30-something against Miami. And do we really think that Miami's going to respond with that many points? No. The Dolphins don't beat the Bills when the Dolphins are good. So, no. I think Buffalo wins handily. By the way, I think there will be a ton of Bills fans at the game. It will be very
absolutely
embarrassing for the Dolphins.
Absolutely. Arizona at Seattle. The Seahawks won the first one 23-20. Do they get the sweep at home? I say yes, although I think this game's going to be very competitive. Seattle, I love the way that their defense is playing. Sam Darnold's been great, but this defense is terrific. Give me the Seahawks.
Short week for Arizona. Remember, they won Monday night on the road, now having to go to Seattle. Arizona has played tough. They're a much better team with Jacoby Brissett. They are. Seattle's the better team, though. They just are. One thing, however, Seahawks may be 6-2, but Mark, they're 2-2 at home. They're 4-0 on the road. They got to get that straightened out if they want to win that division.
Rams are at San Francisco. San Francisco won the first time at the other home game they played in Los Angeles. I just don't see San Francisco sweeping the Rams. I'll take the Rams in this one.
Regular season, Shanahan's 11-6 against McVay. He did lose the NFC title game, however, to the Rams 4 years ago. I took the Niners in the points, but I don't think they're going to win. I thought the Rams had the edge in play in the first meeting and screwed it up twice. Stafford's 9 TDs his last 2 games. Give me the Rams.
You picked Detroit and laid the number, so I know you're taking the Lions against Washington. I want to see the Lions defense play well because Washington doesn't have much on offense. No McLaurin, no Daniels. They don't have much of a running game. This should be an easy win for Detroit. Can they do it? I say they win. It's just a matter of by how many.
And I'm laying, what am I laying, 8.5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Steelers with a road game against the Chargers. What do you think the crowd is? I'd say 60-40 Steelers minimum. In fact, I think a Steelers fan, if they could sneak a boombox in, would play Renegade at some point in the second half, and the crowd would go nuts.
Remember when the Chargers first moved from San Diego and they were playing in that soccer stadium?
Yes.
And that year they had 2 home games. One was against the Steelers and one was against the Eagles. And the stadium held like just under 30,000. And you literally thought there were less than 5,000 Chargers fans at both games. That's how much the Eagles and the Steelers fans had invaded the place. The Steelers defense is bad. If they don't force 5 turnovers and 6 turnovers, they don't perform well. I don't think they're going to force that many turnovers against Herbert and the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers.
I'm taking Pittsburgh because I do think the defense will perform well because of how banged up the Chargers' offensive line is. And finally, Monday night, Philadelphia at Green Bay. Philadelphia looks as if they've kind of found their stride. Green Bay just laid an egg. They're not losing 2 in a row. You're going to see a great game on Monday night. In the end, I think the Packers have the ball last, they score last, and they win, beating Philadelphia.
It's a grudge match for the Eagles as a franchise. They're furious at the Packers. They're the ones that officially introduced the elimination of the tush-push measure at the owners' meetings. Also, Carolina just lined up with no passing game. I mean, Bryce Young barely threw for 100 yards, and they lined up with no passing game and ran the ball down Green Bay's throat with Rico Dowdell. What could the Eagles do if they show up wanting to run the ball with a grudge? Weather's supposed to be cold, but not wet, Mark. Monday night at Lambeau, give me Philly.
So we've never had a week like this, David. I mean, we've been doing this a long time. We literally disagree on 7 games. We only agree on 6 games. Cincinnati, Dallas, Kansas City, and with the week off, in Tennessee with the week off. But we disagree on a bunch of games. It's my chance to get back in it, although I've taken way too many hunches. I don't know if the NFL will be that wild this weekend.
Well,
those are our picks straight up in the NFL.
Sorry, it should be wild because of what we pointed out earlier in the show. We have 8 or 9 games in which the spread is less than 5. And we have, I believe, 5 games in which the spread is a field goal or less. This should be a flip of a coin. It feels like anybody could win any of these games weekend, more than what we've had the last 2 weekends when there looked to be a few more mismatches on the schedule.
I'm in 2 NFL weekly pick'em pools with people, and then I pick the games on this show. I think if you stacked my 3 sets of picks up, you would be very confused, because I'm like Chris Perkins when he came on the show a couple of weeks ago and says, well, I picked Carolina on my podcast and I picked Miami in the newspaper. I'm flipping coins right now.
Well, do me a favor. Take 10 seconds. I know you got eliminated a couple of weeks ago in your elimination pool. You tell me who the pick is this week. Is it Detroit at Washington?
I hate taking road games. Obviously, if you haven't used Buffalo, to me, it's Buffalo first. That's your lock.
Okay, but the odds are, I mean, Buffalo and Detroit are 2 good teams. The odds are people have used them already. Is it
if you throw those 2 out, Carolina is where I would go.
Think about what you're saying. Okay, you're this deep into an elimination pool, and one of your top 3 choices this week is Carolina.
And then if it's not Carolina, to me, it would be Chicago. When you're digging a little deeper. Absolutely. Because you're right. People have probably used Detroit and Buffalo if they are still around in a Survivor League. I'm not. Thank you, Miami, for beating Atlanta. We'll talk the Jets with Antwan Staley. He's next on Miller and Moulton on a Football Friday.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it
For
real.
over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
It's the event everyone will be talking about when college basketball's biggest names take the court in Fort Myers. The Michigan State Spartans and the North Carolina Tar Heels headline the 2025 Skechers Fort Myers Tip-Off. Witness the excitement live and in person this Thanksgiving week at Suncoast Arena. The stage is set. Will you be there? Lock in your spot now at FortMyersTipoff.com/go. That's FortMyersTipoff.com/go. See you Thanksgiving week at Suncoast Arena.
Football season is back and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You know, it is funny. The Twitch chat room, you guys, Twitch and YouTube chat rooms, you guys can get me to actually root against your teams with your attitudes. There are 2 teams now that I like far less. That one I never cared about. One I actually didn't mind. And you guys make me laugh. Now, if they lose, I laugh. It makes me laugh. Bingo, Deadstruck. Bingo. The Broncos I never cared about. Never even gave them a thought. And the Eagles, I love the passion of the Philadelphia fan base, but you guys are, literally today, they're running away with the NFC. How the hell can you legitimately say that? You lost to the Giants. I think they're the odds-on favorite to win, but look at the odds. It's not that one-sided. It's just not. Was I rooting for you? I fell asleep. Raiders. I fell asleep. I can't say I was rooting for you. The game was so boring, it put me to sleep.
I will say the Broncos should wear those uniforms every week.
I agree with that.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
And Antwan Staley is kind enough to join us once again. He covers the NFL at large with a big-time focus on the Jets with the New York Daily News. Follow Antwan on X at Antwan Staley, Staley. Antwan, it's David and Mark. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Well, we're fine. We wanted to wait a couple days, let you go into the locker room, talk to the guys. Do you think they're going to be like numb and not all in Sunday, or ultimately they're pros, this happens, they'll be fine?
I think it depends on who you talk to. I think if you asking Quincy Williams, who brother just got traded, and also saw Sauce Gardner, another one of his defensive teammates, also get traded. And also he got benched too this week too, by the way. So yeah, for him, he might, may not, want to play full effort. But then again, for him, like, he's entering a free agency season coming up next off season. So that might be motivation for him just to play. But, other guys too as well. I mean, I think it works. I think the younger guys are motivated to, play well, because it means it's an opportunity for them and a shot, especially on a team that's 1-7 at the moment. I think if you're a veteran, you're probably thinking, what's my future look like? Obviously the Jets are not going to make the playoffs. And if you're a free agent like a John Simpson or a Quincy Williams or somebody in that, mode, then you're obviously, human nature is going to be to think about what's next potentially. So, yeah, I think it depends on who you're asking in the locker room. But, it's been very mixed opinions just among players.
A few weeks back I think it was the owners' meetings or whatever, when Woody Johnson put his foot in his mouth to me, I thought he started that little diatribe off. He was basically defending his coach. That was fine. Then he blasted Fields without naming him. We can't even complete a pass. How hurtful was that to the team? How hurtful was that to the quarterback room? I mean, it's one thing for the owner to back the coach, and I think we all can appreciate that. But to back the coach while driving the bus over and backing up on your starting quarterback's quite another thing, Antwan.
I mean, it's Woody Johnson. I mean, the man is tone deaf. Like, so I don't think when you said the owners meeting, I had to think about it, like, oh yeah, he's talking about the Justin Fields thing, because it's been many times where Woody Johnson's put his foot in his mouth. So this is not an isolated incident or occurrence. But yeah, I mean, he's the reason why the Jets have been what they've been the last 15 years, to be quite honest with you. He bought the team in 2000. They had some marginal success early on, and since 2010, they've not made the playoffs at all. And he's been the common denominator because of that. They've changed coaches. They've changed quarterbacks. They've done changed players on the roster. But, yeah, he's the one constant on why they have continued to be in this endless dark cloud, or black hole, as I call it, of lack of success the last 15 years. And, yeah, when you come out with comments like that, whether it was true or not, I think we all probably, maybe thought about it at some point, because Justin Fields wasn't playing well. But if you're the owner of your team and, you're trying to get these players motivated and want to play for you, that says a lot when your owner just goes on the record and says it, especially in the manner that he said it in. So, and the Jets used that as fuel. Like, I mean, I think Justin Fields used that as fuel against Cincinnati, and the team just rallied behind them. And, now they're looking at Woody Johnson as more of an outsider, kind of like what the media is portrayed too as well. So the Jets definitely use that to advantage. We'll see how Justin Fields plays the rest of the way. But, Woody Johnson, he's the reason why the Jets are where they are. And until he, gets out the way and, doesn't say these outlandish comments, there's probably going to continue to be, chaos and a lot of dysfunction within the organization.
Antwan, normally if a team trades its two best players, it doesn't make any sense at all. But they're not going anywhere. They don't have a quarterback. They probably won't have one next year. Even if they draft somebody, they're going to have to take a year and develop them. I mean, does what they did, make more sense than it otherwise would seem?
I mean, I think it would have made more sense had you just had a complete, fire sale. That if you once you just trade Breece Hall too, if you're going to do that, trade Breece Hall, trade Quincy. I don't understand why they didn't trade Quincy Williams. Not only did they bench him, but now they've angered him to the point where he comes out and, says what he did, basically on Wednesday, saying that, he wants to play for the team, but obviously he's clearly frustrated about, being a number 2. So, and obviously he's going to be a free agent after the season. So either be all in or all out. I don't, I get it at 1-7. I thought the Jets should have just, took it on the chin this year in general, especially considering they released Aaron Rodgers and took a lot of that cap hit on. They ended up splitting it up over 2 years. I thought they should have just took it on the chin, been bad for a year, just tell people, you know what, this is a slow process. We're trying to be what, Dan Campbell built with Detroit, and, just, be completely honest with that. But, they had this charade about Aaron Glenn coming in saying, well, we're going to be good. I'm used to just winning, in Detroit. And, now he's backtracking saying, well, I didn't say it was going to be immediate success. I just said we're going to have success. So, but it just looks bad all around. I just think they needed to be all in or all out. So I'm not mad that they, decided to have a fire sale. I just think they should have just, if you're going to do that, then just be all in with it. Just commit to the bit.
All right. We asked a poll question yesterday. We had a little fun because we're in Dolphin country in Florida. And obviously the Dolphins and Jets are rivals and now just both in the toilet. We asked which team's going to make the playoffs first, which is just, you can't even conceive it right now. Do the Jets fan base, does anybody see a vision after this fire sale of sorts? Do they think there's a light at the end of the tunnel? Or is this just a case of they'll figure out a way to screw up these draft picks?
I think if you speak to I think the fans are no. I mean, it's been 15 years since they made the playoffs. So,
right.
I mean, it's been no end in sight anyway. So I think if you're a Jet fan, you're just like, when will this end? I think with the Dolphins, there's a little bit more, when are we going to win a playoff game? Like the Dolphins have made the playoffs. They just hadn't won a playoff game since 2000. Like, I think it's interesting, like Jets, Dolphins, obviously division rivalry. The fans hate each other because I think they're a lot alike, but they're both tortured, but just in different ways. I think Jet fans they're just really become numb to everything that's going on. They've been through several coaches, several new quarterbacks there. They've had 5 draft picks before, first round draft picks before a few years ago, 21 and 22. And then that didn't accumulate to anything, any kind of success. So they're optimistic about the draft picks, but ultimately you got to hit on them. And if you don't hit on them, then you're going to be just like how I was in 21 and 22 when you took Zach Wilson and you also took Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, who you also shipped out. But they were never able to have a season better than 7-10 in any of those years.
All right, it's a hell of a game. Cleveland at the Jets. Combined, the teams are 3-13. Are the Jets going to be able, Cleveland has struggled offensively, but now the Jets have traded away their 2 best defensive players. I mean, is this what the Jets offense against the Cleveland defense? You would say edge Cleveland. So is this another Jets loss?
I mean, it's an opportunity for them to win. I think if they're going to win another game, this is one of the games you look at, to be honest with you, because, you got the Patriots on a short week next Thursday night. I don't think many people think they're going to win that. You look at their remaining schedule after that, Baltimore, Atlanta, probably not going to win either one of those. Miami. The Dolphins game on December the 7th will be very interesting because I'm curious to see what state of mind the Dolphins will be in and considering everything that's happened to them. So you look at 3 games on the schedule the Jets, I think, could win. The Browns are one of them. I think the Dolphins are another one. And then they also they play the Saints December 21st, too. So those games are going to determine who's going to get the number 1 pick in my estimation. They have an opportunity to win. It's just a matter of how Justin Fields played. Can he back that up? His game against Cincinnati 2 weeks ago with another really good performance. But now you're trying to prevent Myles Garrett, who ended up having 5 sacks in a loss a few weeks ago, from sacking your quarterback a million times. So it's definitely not going to be an easy task at all, especially considering, the Jets offense has been, inconsistent all year long.
All right, I got 2 hard-hitting questions for you. Bees or Sam Jones? Which barbecue's better?
What was the choices again?
Bees barbecue or Sam Jones?
I'm about to go with Bees there. Like, there's no question.
All right, and if you're not having buffalo wings, we're taking buffalo wings off the table, the traditional way a wing's made. What's the best wing you can have?
Oh, you mean like the traditional buffalo flavor?
Yeah, take that off. What's
that's easy. That's like an easy question right there. For me, like I love Bar Bill, place in Buffalo. They have this flavor called Cajun honey butter barbecue. Is Josh Allen's favorite, so that's my favorite too as well. That's my favorite wing flavor out there.
Hard hitting, David. You know.
Well, listen, it's probably more interesting to more people than the Jets are, even to Jets fans right now. Antwan, as always,
you're probably right.
Okay,
you're probably right.
In fact, you should maybe what do you do about four or five articles and columns a week? I'd say, you know what, just do food on the road. Maybe I think your audience might get a better kick out of that. As opposed to,
you know what, but to that point, real quick, I'm actually considering coming out with a book. I'm working on it now. Just basically, different. Obviously, 32 teams in NFL, and a lot of people travel for road games. So I'm working on a book now to talk about just some of the best places to go. So that'll be awesome. Hopefully, be out very soon. Yeah,
love it. Let us know when you do it. We'll get you on and just talk about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I appreciate that.
Antwan Staley, the Daily News in New York, soon to be author of an NFL, I don't know if we call it cookbook, but food book. Follow him on X at Antwan Staley, Staley. Thanks, Antwan.
Thank y'all.
Antwan Staley, kind enough to join us once again.
For those wondering, Bee's Barbecue and Sam Jones are in Greenville, North Carolina. Antwan is a graduate of East Carolina University, and East Carolina barbecue is really blanking good.
Well, and he was in Charlotte for a while covering the Panthers before the Jets. So,
yeah, but that's Western North Carolina. That's not as good.
I know.
It's just not.
I know, but I think he traveled. I think he was a barbecue and a wings and beef connoisseur.
Bee's Barbecue, I think, opens at 11 in the morning. It's a joint. It's a shack. You would love it, David. It's a little house. The steps are all crooked. You don't go inside. You just kind of get it at the counter and sit down at picnic tables. And I think they open at 11, and there's a line by 10:15. And if they open at 10, there's a line by 9:15. And you can get food until they run out, and they run out every day.
That's glorious.
It really is. Love me some barbecue. I'm going to try to make a trip up to see the boy during baseball season and catch a ECU game in what they like to call the jungle up there. Miller and Moulton on a Football Friday. Thanks so much for listening.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Go Raiders. Thank you, my man. Very kind of you. No, they don't. They would be a playoff team right now, your Flyers would. And that division sucks. That is the worst division in hockey. I think it's even worse than the Pacific.
No, Logic Man, I told you, I thought they'd be a lot better this year. I thought they would be like Detroit the last couple of years. I thought they'd contend right to the end and probably miss out by a point or two. But that division's soft, so there's a chance. I think they'll finish out of the Rangers.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. On a football Friday.
Football Friday. Probably should have my mic on before I talk.
I mean, it's a talk show. Might want to
Well,
think about it, but, you know, then again, I do it more than you, so I can't say anything. That is for sure. It's funny, for as competitive as we think the NFL is going to be this weekend, I get the feeling you don't feel that way about college, that you feel this is a separation weekend, and even those that are kind of like clinging to their seasons or a top 25 ranking, they're playing better teams and they're just going to get beat.
Well, I mean, like BYU and Texas Tech opened at 10.5. It's at 11.5. This is the marquee game of the week. This is to decide basically if the Big 12 can get two teams in. And I know they could play each other a second time and BYU could win if Texas Tech wins at home. I get it. But I mean, that's the 7 versus 8 teams in the country, and it's an 11.5 point spread. Penn State's obviously fallen apart. I don't think they have anything for Indiana. I'm fascinated at 3:30 for your game. I mean, that's the game I'm most excited to watch. Iowa and Oregon at Kinnick. Can the Hawkeyes beat a good team? They played Indiana incredibly tough. Lost by 5. Held Indiana to the lowest amount of points that they've been held, I think, in 2 years. And Indiana's better than they were a year ago, and it's not close. So what do they do against the Ducks at home? I'm fascinated by that game. I actually wish it wasn't going to be a slot fest. It might make for better TV that it's rainy and ugly and messy. I wish it was going to be a little cleaner. I hope somehow you don't have rain, just some cold. But that's not in the forecast.
What I'm most curious about is, because I think the Big Ten's going to beat each other up a little bit here, in which I think that they'll be fortunate to get 3. Like, I don't believe Oregon's going to go through this stretch and win them all, but they can lose one and still be 10-2, and they can be the 3rd team. But between at Iowa, home for USC, at Washington, like, so is it USC who beats them? And then USC posts a 10-2, and now we have to talk about, does the Big Ten get 4? Is it Washington that beats them, and they fulfill my preseason expectations, and they go 10-2? And do we have to talk Washington in the playoff? Which no one right now is prepared to do, because you have to then do it at the expense of someone somewhere, a second Big 12. You're shutting the door on any type of hope of the ACC getting more than 1. Are you doing it at the expense of Notre Dame? Or are you doing it at the expense of the SEC? You know, there are people who are still clinging to the hope that the SEC can get 5. A&M's got at Texas, and then potentially an SEC title game. You know, does anybody think Bama's going to lose? Or is it going to be a remarkable 11-1 season where they lost to Florida State week 1? How do you explain that?
Here's a question for you to look ahead, because I think Auburn has a better shot of beating Vandy than Missouri has of beating A&M. They're both 6.5 points. If Vanderbilt runs the table, which means they beat Tennessee, 25th ranked Tennessee in the playoff. Just remember that, everybody. It's going to be important. If Vanderbilt runs the table, are they really going to give the Commodores a shot at 10-2 in the playoff?
Here's the problem right now for Vandy. They have 2 conference losses. So say they run the table. Even if Texas, Mark, loses one of the 2 games, they would finish tied with Texas, who won.
Yeah, but Texas will have a 3 in the loss column, David.
I know, but in the standings, I mean, and
no, I know what you're saying.
Okay,
so you're saying because Texas beat Vandy, even if Texas ends up with 2 losses, one of them, or with 3 losses, we all know they lost to the Buckeyes week 1. So if they end up as a 9-3 team, you're not saying Texas is going to get in, but because Texas beat Vandy, that keeps them out?
Right. Like, this is what I'm wondering. Is Texas in the SEC a roadblock for both Oklahoma and Vandy if they win out? in which, yes, Oklahoma and Vandy, and it's unlikely Oklahoma will win out. Their schedule is daunting, including at Alabama in 8 days. But if Oklahoma were to win out, they're 10-2, but they're 6-2 in conference, tied with Texas, who beat them. If Vandy wins out, they're 10-2, 6-2 in conference, but Texas beat them. And so Texas would be listed as the 5th place team in the conference. And can you put a 6th or 7th place SEC team in the playoff?
I'll tell you what right now, if Oklahoma runs the table, which means they beat Alabama, Missouri, and LSU, they're in. Oklahoma's in. That win against Alabama would be enough. I don't give a damn that they lost to Texas. The quarterback was just coming back. There's a lot of factors there. Trust me, Oklahoma, the brand, the team, they get, let's just say Ole Miss takes care of business. Georgia gets there. Oklahoma wins out, they're in. I don't think they'll beat Alabama, but if they do, they're getting in.
Fair enough, especially the point about Mateer. Yes, he played, but he shouldn't have. He was playing with a broken throwing hand, for goodness sakes. So, okay. Is it possible, though? Is it possible for the SEC to beat itself up so that because remember what happened last year? At this point last year, the SEC was getting 4, and we were trying to make the case for more. And guess what happened? The SEC devoured themselves, and they only got 3. Is it possible for the SEC to do it again? Georgia's got Texas and Georgia Tech. Forget them tripping up this week in Starkville. They've got Texas and Georgia Tech. Okay, now I think Ole Miss has got a cakewalk.
Right,
Okay.
but if they lose, if Ole Miss loses, yeah, they beat Oklahoma. What else do they have to show to say that they deserve it at 10-2?
Well, and what if they lose the Egg Bowl in Starkville, which is not crazy? I mean, it's a big rivalry game. We all know what can happen in these games. Okay, but does it cost them a spot in the playoff, or does it just cost them a home game and they're seated somewhere 9 through 12?
This is where David and I talk about this a lot. This is where the bottom of these playoff rankings are really important, and people don't pay attention to the bottom. They focus on the first 10 or 12 or however it works out for who's getting in. You've got to pay attention to the whole collective rankings, because what they do at the bottom is propping teams up at the top. It's why where Tennessee and Missouri end up is important for how many SEC teams get in. And at some point, if you're the ACC commissioner, you got to start your campaign now going, why is Miami where they are and Notre Dame's where they are? Are we sure about that? Because Virginia and Georgia Tech don't have signature wins. They don't. Now, if Georgia Tech beats Georgia, we're talking about something completely differently.
Vandy will have beaten LSU at home and Missouri at home. If they win the table, run the table, they will then have beaten Tennessee at Tennessee. That's their 10-2. Is that good enough as the 5th best SEC team to get in at 10-2? Home for LSU, home for Missouri, at Tennessee. There's a good chance by the end of the season, both Missouri and Tennessee are unranked. Okay, and LSU's already unranked. It could at the end of the year be Vandy at 10-2, Mark, having not beaten a team that's currently ranked.
Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and ugly. That's next. American Paint Supplies. For nearly 30 years is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And With a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making 100 grand. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
They've cut the nets, they've raised the banners, and now they're headed to Fort Myers. Michigan State, North Carolina, and other top programs take the court in the Skechers Fort Myers tip-off this Thanksgiving week. Legendary programs, championship traditions, college basketball's biggest names, live at Suncoast Arena. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now at FortMyersTipOff.com/go. That's FortMyersTipOff.com/go.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. This is it. Final segment of the show and of the week. I think we've had a good one. Hope you have as well. And as always, have a great weekend. Enjoy your football. We're into November in a big way.
And you get
soak it up.
I'm fired up for you because you get one of the big games of the week. I mean, this is the game. I think it's the best game on the slate. I really do. Because this is, if Iowa wins, they are firmly back in the playoff race. This is as important of a Big Ten game as we've had in a while.
Well, quite frankly, if Iowa wins, the Big Ten will be fortunate just to get 3. I mean, it's shaped up, Iowa with only 1 conference loss, Michigan with only 1 conference loss, even though they both have 2 losses. But if Oregon were to get beat here by any combination of Iowa, USC, and Washington, USC also with 2 losses, but only 1 in the Big Ten. So it gets pretty interesting here down the stretch, unless the favorites just beat everybody.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Today was the day when, brought to you by the Fort Myers Tip-Off. It is right around the corner. As David said, it is November. That's college basketball season, remember? North Carolina, Michigan State, the Bonnies, and the Pirates from East Carolina in the feature group. 8 men's teams, 8 women's teams. They get going on Monday of Thanksgiving week. The men play Monday through Thursday. The women tip off on Friday. For more information, tip off. That's kind of the key word. FortMyersTipoff.com. FortMyersTipoff.com. Lewis and Clark first see the Pacific today in 1805. Big fans of Lewis and Clark on this show. Mainly a former producer, but still big fans.
I have to admit, I think Clark helped Lewis more than Mary helped William.
You know what? Dadgum good point there, David. The first cartoon depicting an elephant as the Republican Party symbol is published by Thomas Nast today in 1874. I mentioned it yesterday, but today was an even bigger day in Russia. Lenin seizes power. The Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic is proclaimed. Worked out really well. It worked out so well that 14 years later in 1931, the Chinese Republic, with 18 provinces and 4 counties under Communist Party control. 1944, FDR wins again. 1966, John Lennon meets Yoko Ono, and that would be the end of the Beatles. No.
Oh, stop it.
I can't help myself sometimes. I really can't. LBJ signed a bill establishing the Corporation for Public Broadcasting today in 1967. 1972, Nixon reelected. Today in 1976, and I remember this, David. I remember this being a big deal for my mom. On NBC, the broadcast television debut of the 1939 film Gone with the Wind. It aired in 2 parts over consecutive nights. It earned a 65% share of the viewers. I get it. We only had 3 networks. I get it. But that's still a biggie.
That's big.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
1980, the king of cool, Steve McQueen, died. Had mesothelioma. Same thing that got my grandma. They say he got his asbestos by wearing racing suits. Today in 1991, and I'm pretty sure it was a Wednesday, David, we learned that Irvin Magic Johnson had HIV. I was in a class at Michigan State. It was a big, blanking deal?
I was at WBNG TV 12 in Binghamton, New York, with my feet up on the desk. I think it was a Thursday.
It may have been. I
You
know
think
I
it was a
had I
Wednesday?
had a movie. I had an English class where you watched movies. It was at night, and so the news had just kind of come out, and the class was at 6 or 7 p.m. or whatever it was. So I remember learning about it in the evening.
And it was around 3:30, and I had my feet up on the desk, and I literally just said to a cameraman, "Man, there is nothing going on today." And a half hour later, CNN broke in, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
Today in 2000, I believe it was Tim Russert that went Florida, Florida, Florida.
Yep.
Al Gore and George Bush. The results in Florida were unclear, ended up going to a Supreme Court case, and Bush would become our president. Also that day, Hillary Clinton elected to represent New York in the Senate, becoming the first lady to win an elected office. In 2021, Kyle Larson holds off Martin Truex for his 10th win of the season and his first championship. Billy Graham, Joe Necro, Chris Mortensen, and King Kong Bundy would have all celebrated birthdays today. Can I get 4 more opposites than those? Jim Cott, the pitcher, is 87. Joni Mitchell, 82. Peter Brady, Christopher Knight is 68. Jockey Kelvin Burrell is 59, and singer Lord is 29 years old today. What did I miss, David?
Jim Cott, I think, has 283 wins, not in the Hall of Fame. A lefty specialist, probably the first one of the very first lefty reliever specialists. Before that, obviously, he was a tremendous starting pitcher for a long time. I wonder if he'd be in the Hall of Fame if he had beaten Sandy Koufax in Game 7 of the 65 series. Jim Cott was terrible that day. He threw a 5-hitter and got beat 2-0.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Koufax on 2 days rest. Cott threw his 5-hitter on 3 days rest. Koufax threw a 2-hitter on 2 days rest.
Different breed of pitchers back then, David.
A little bit.
Different breed of pitchers.
A little bit. Just a couple of footnotes. Jeanette Rankin, first woman elected to Congress today in 1916. Women didn't even have the right to vote yet.
That's big. I mean, if you think about it, come on. That's bigger than App State beating Michigan right there. That's an upset, man. I'm telling you.
It is. Montana, by the way, elected to represent Montana. And you had mentioned that Nixon was reelected today in 72. The irony is, Mark, it was on this date in 62, he loses the governor's race in California.
I like gubernatorial better than governor's race, just for the record. I like that
and
word.
He utters the famous quote, "You won't have Nixon to kick around anymore. This will be my last press conference." He would be president 6 years later.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We've got a lion for the good. And we go to Ireland, where police are investigating a viral video of a lion on the loose. It turned out it was a Newfoundland, a dog with a fresh new haircut. How much did the Irish have to drink that day? Yeah, I said it. My co-host is Irish, and so is my wife, for that matter. I want to take a jab, I'll take a jab. Thought it was a lion. It was a damn dog with a haircut.
No, I tell you, man. Okay, no, you should see the thing. The thing is flipping huge.
David, do you have any idea how many eggs a chicken can lay in a day?
No idea.
Me either. And apparently neither does Peter Rira. because in Port St. Lucie, Florida, Peter is now facing multiple charges, including aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. You see, he was at a pub early Tuesday morning, and he got into an argument with 3 others who he had just met. They were debating how many eggs a chicken could lay in a single day.
It's not worth getting in a fight over, guys.
Oh,
It
not
really
just a
isn't.
fight. Peter got so pissed off, he went back to his car and got his gun and fired 4 shots at the three victims. He didn't hit anybody. No one was injured, thank goodness. No word yet on if they came to a conclusion as to how many eggs a chicken could lay in a day. Peter, download ChatGPT. Finally, the ugly. We go to Miami, where when you got to go, you got to go. And that's the case here because a 72-year-old man needed to go. And he was at Publix. And there was someone in the stall. And Alfredo Brindez, entered the restroom frantically and began to bang on the store door, demanding the man inside the stall come out. When the victim left the stall, he came face to face with Alfredo, who was yelling at him to hurry and move. The victim stated he could not exit the stall because Alfredo was blocking his way and said to him, "Get out of the way." After that, Alfredo pulled his knife out and waved it in front of the victim, telling him to move. He then tried to cut him with the knife. Man used his book bag to defend himself. When police came, Alfredo told the officer that he really needed to use the restroom, and the victim did not move out of his way, so he took out a knife.
Man.
Yeah. And that, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today, Friday, November the 7th, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Cape Coral Police Department hiring new officers. Great pay, great benefits, overtime available. Other jobs available, too. For being a cop in Cape Coral or any of the other jobs, David, where do they go?
CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Think they ever had a call like that in the Cape?
I don't know. If they did, trust me, we'll find out later today because the chief will listen to this segment at some point and text me.
I love that he does that.
Yes, I do too. I absolutely love it. I've got questions for him too. I was actually thinking about, and I don't know if he could do it. And I should, here I am producing on the air. I'm pulling a Moulton right now. You know, Levitard used to do a great segment. I don't know if he still does. I don't listen that often, but he would bring on the guy from the Miami Zoo and people would call up and ask really silly animal questions. You know, if a cheetah fought a chimpanzee, who would win? I mean, these bizarre questions. But there's part of me that wants to bring the Cape Coral chief of police on once a month and just have the texters can ask law questions because there are things that I want to know. You know, I mean, these e-bikes that are driving people nuts that are riding down the sidewalks, is that legal? You know, I mean, what way should you properly be walking through a road? Do you go into traffic or with it? I believe it's now into traffic. But there are little questions that I'd like to know, little traffic questions. And I think he could help. There you go. There's some production on air. South Florida winner last night on Thursday. Tonight, UCF gets their chance, David.
8 o'clock FS1. USC hosting Northwestern, 9 o'clock on Big Fox. There is a key game in the American at 9 o'clock on ESPN, Tulane at Memphis.
Big game because both have lost in conference, I believe.
Yep.
And you've still got South Florida trying to get that bid in that conference. There's a bunch of teams with one loss. Still a lot on the line there.
Amazon, by the way, the NBA doubleheader tonight. Rockets and Spurs at 7:30. Golden State, Denver at 10. No Steph for the Warriors. But Orlando's home at 7 against the Celtics, and the Heat are home at 8 against Charlotte. No Bam Adebayo for the Heat.
Big game tonight, the NHL, David. 7 o'clock. We're going at it. Mano a mano. Rangers and Wings.
Okay, I like your chances. You guys are good and we're not.
Yeah, but it's a road game. So if the Rangers are going to win, they're on the road.
That's true. They do score on the road. They don't at home. I still like the Wings.
Me too. I mean, not to win. I just like the Wings. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy your football. Gary Danielson will be on the show Monday.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This year during Thanksgiving week, Fort Myers takes the national stage, hosting not one but 2 elite women's college basketball tournaments, the Fort Myers Tip-Off and Coconut Hoops, both featuring Power 4 teams and nationally ranked programs. Few places in the country can showcase this level of talent. We're proud that Fort Myers is one of them. Don't miss your chance. For tickets, go to visitfortmyers.com/basketball. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it
Mark
real.
Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
At the Diamond District, we pride ourselves in being local. We're here in the community.
And in the showroom every day, we live here, we work here, and we love being a part of our guests' milestone moments.
From engagement rings to stylish fashion pieces, our showroom holds something special for everyone.
And we've got a fresh look that makes the Diamond District feel like a new store.
So come see us, Jason and Todd, and experience the newness of the Diamond District.
At the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.